myself.
Don't I wish? Okay, welcome everybody. This is Manhattan Community Board One's full board meeting. I'm Tammy Meltzer, Chair. I'm joined at the dais with Colin Mahoney, our Assistant Secretary, Alice Blank, our Vice Chair, Mimi Flynn, our Secretary, and Lucian Reynolds, our District Manager. I want to say thank you so much to DCTV for hosting us as our first very off-site meeting since the pandemic started. So I want to thank you very much and move to say, John, thank you, and whoever you'd like to introduce, please take it from here.
Okay, thank you. I'm here with my mother. My mother, 98 years old, is coming to the end of the rainbow, and so the whole family's with her. And Sade Falabita is the managing director of DCTV, and she's here to welcome you.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Thank you, John. You have a mighty presence even from afar. Welcome to DCTV. Just to give a bit of background, in case you don't know, so DCTV was founded in 1972 by John Albert and Keiko Suno. And it's interesting because the cinema that you're sitting in right now, if we rewind back in time, it was just a mail truck with what was it, one or two TVs inside? Two TVs inside, and sometimes there'd be a crowd of one person watching the documentary film, and sometimes there'd be many people. But the cinema that you're sitting in is an evolution of that. And we're really honored to have you here today because the community board and the actions taken by the community board represent change and is very community based. And DCTV since 1972 was started with that mission of creating change in the community and using film as an engine of change. And so we're honored to have you here today. We welcome you. We thank you for supporting this community throughout the years, for supporting us throughout the years. It's much appreciated, and we're really honored. So it's nice to see you all, nice to meet you all. If you have any questions or need anything, definitely feel free to reach out to me. FYI, if you know any young students who are interested in making films, we have a free youth filmmaking program where they can come and learn how to make films. We have a summer media intensive. It's 4 weeks. They make a film. They can create a portfolio for college, get jobs, internships. We provide that here. So if you know students, let us know. I'm a product of the program myself and very grateful for the opportunity. It's very much rooted in change and transformation in young people. So shout out to youth media. But thank you for being here today. I won't ramble. I know you have a lot to talk about. But welcome. We appreciate you.
Thank you very much. Do you mind taking one or two questions? Because I can already see Morton asking one.
Yes. So we serve students ages 13 to 24. Yep. So we have a high school program, and we also have a young adult programs as well. We also have a continuing education course for 18 and above for people who want to learn filmmaking. Yes, low cost, affordable classes.
Keep in mind, if you're going to ask a question, you need to give us a moment to repeat it, because otherwise it won't be on the recording unless you're holding a mic in the audience.
Gotcha.
Any other hands up for questions? Okay,
Right.
Seeing none, thank you so much for having us. John, thank you so much for being so patient with your incredible team here and road testing our return to the neighborhoods. So thank you very much.
The door's always open, anytime.
With that, let's move on to our public session. And of note, we've had another couple board members join us. We're still a couple short, hint, hint, for those who are online. Okay, and with our public session, let me open up the signups and see who has signed in, who's with us in the room. If you are here for the public session, please raise your hand if you intend to speak. Please line up by the microphone that's right over on the edge of the aisle. And since I am unsure who you are, but knowing that hopefully you have signed in, please announce yourself and start.
Indeed. Thank you. I'm glad to be here. I'm Nina Schwelby from 55 White Street down the block, and I signed in. We have a block association on White Street, so we're happy also to have you on our street close. We have a question about the trash cans. We had been in touch with Chris Marte's office and the Department of Sanitation about the replacement of the trash cans in Tribeca and twice a week pickup. We were assured this was going to happen in October. Then we were assured it was going to happen in March, and here we are in almost May, and we were wondering if you had any update on that or could move us to a place where we might get an update on that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nina. And we're going to take notes with our district manager and our community coordinator, and we get back to you. I see you have signed in. Please make sure you email the office so we have your contact details. Next.
Bob Townley. Hello, John. Best to your family from Veronica and I. I was waiting to go to the bathroom in the 19th floor of the borough president's office, and I noticed that they had the pictures of all the borough presidents there. And I thought to myself, well, why isn't that memorialization for our community board chairs and our district managers and for others who have served in very hard times, from Tammy, the youngest, to others? And if anyone wants to work with me on that, I think that should be done, even if it's a little list in the office that people see when we return to the building. I think it's really important that community leaders are not just, oh, here, you're done. Stick a fork in you, you're done. And there's a long history here from about the 1970s with district managers and community board chairs, and it is not an easy job. It is not an easy job, and we should be thankful for it. And I think that it would be nice, in a very modest way, to put people, so when people come to that office, they know there was a rich history here. My second thing, so if anyone wants to work with me on it, please contact me and I'll follow it up. It's not something you do in a minute, but and then also, I also want to mention that I'm really working on and quite upset about the marijuana, the way it has been broken out. And I would, again, there wasn't a youth committee meeting, but the poisoning and the overuse, and again, I am not a prude. I am not. I drink, I smoke. It's not that, but there's a severe overuse of it, and the government is thinking they're making money on it. And I think that has to be addressed, and I'll keep addressing it at the youth committee, because some of the kids are blowing their brains out. People that know, I worked at Rockefeller University on heroin treatment in the 70s, and people that know drugs know that different people react to marijuana differently. And it is going to be a bigger problem if there isn't something done about it. We should have just decriminalized it and not put the government in the business of a weed seller. Okay. So anyway, again, on the issue of the community boards, chairs and district managers, let me know. Okay. Thanks.
Thanks, Bob. Appreciate that. Next person, please.
It's a great place. It could use a liquor license. I'm Max Bookman. I'm an attorney. My law firm is Pozetsky and Bookman. For the last 8 years, I've been representing liquor license applicants before this community board, and my firm has been doing it for over 35 years. Here tonight representing CBCS, which is Hotel Barrier. You're going to hear a resolution later on this evening from Susan Cole's committee on a liquor license matter that we came before her committee on. I have nothing but great respect for Susan. Her and I go back many years, and everybody on her committee. It's a thankless job. They work tirelessly. We frequently find compromise. We don't always agree, but we always do walk away feeling like we were treated fairly. Except we don't feel that way for this particular application, and we're a little upset by it. We had a deal in 2021 with this community board when we first came for our liquor license. The deal was that there'd be no use of the hotel rooftop for 6 months. The spirit of that deal is the same as it always is when we have a deal like that. Don't generate complaints, operate for the time period that was agreed to, and come back with a reasonable proposal, and we'll enter into good faith negotiations on that proposal. No outcomes were promised, no outcomes ever are, but we felt we upheld our end of the bargain. We operated for 6 months. We did not have any complaints. We came back with a reasonable proposal. And instead of having a negotiation on that reasonable proposal, the outcome was for us to come back in another 6 months. The deal we made in 2021 was complex. There were many aspects. There was a lot of give and take. We would not have agreed to some of the things we agreed to if the deal was to come back in a year and have negotiations. It was 6 months. So what we're asking for you to do is we're really imploring you to please, when you consider this resolution tonight, to send it back to the committee, and we hope that you will.
Thank you very much, Max. You saved me from having to cut you off. So
I saw it coming.
Yeah. Sorry about that, but thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Adam Klein, and I'm the Vice President of the Berryer-Fouquet's that Max just spoke about, and I promise I'll be shorter than him. We have been operating a nice little hotel, and it's, from what I hear and see of our guests every day, it's been a nice addition to the neighborhood, and it's very high-end and upscale, and we work very hard to keep it very well controlled and a pleasant experience for our guests. And our guests would love to sit on the rooftop, and we hear that a lot every day, and the weather's getting nicer. And, we will want to be good neighbors first and foremost, and we just would love to work something out that makes some sense. And we will continue to be the best neighbors we possibly can be, and it's a pleasure to be in this community. So thank you all.
Right. Thank you very much, Adam. I appreciate that. Let's see who else we have. A little hard to see back there, so I apologize. Alice and I are like, where were you on the night of the 5th? Because it's so bright here. Is there anyone else who would like to speak during the public session? Seeing no one else in the room, let me look and see if we have anybody online who would like to speak in the public session.
David Sharkey.
David Sharkey. Mariama, I see you as well. I thought you were on the way here, so I apologize. I didn't notice you get online. David, you have 2 minutes. Thank you.
Okay. Can you guys hear me?
Loudly. Yeah.
All right. No, hey, this is my first time attending, and I appreciate everything you guys do. I just wanted to. I'm at the New York Marriott Downtown Hotel. I'm the general manager there. I've been there for 5 years, and it's a great community. Obviously, or I should say, I do have concerns about the homeless shelter that's going in on 105 Washington Street, and I was just gonna. I didn't know if there was any discussions about it to try to either stop it or perhaps change the designation of it. I mean, because currently, as I understand, it's a low barrier homeless shelter. So I'm just concerned what that's going to do for the local businesses, the community, the schools that are in the area, and how that's going to affect. I mean, our hotel brings in lots of international guests, travelers from all over the world, and I just and all those travelers certainly support the community because they go to the local establishments and everything like that. And I'm just concerned that it may be a deterrent, which would affect that and overall have a negative effect on the community. So sorry to get it all out there, but my first meeting, I'm sure you guys have had discussions about it, but I'm just kind of wanted to know where that's at and if there's plans to do anything about it.
Well, thank you for joining us. I'm going to ask if you would please make sure you sign in live.mcb1 so we have your contact information. We'd be happy to send you the information that we have had already and include you when they come and present this year for our quality of life meeting, which I believe they're coming in May. So you should attend that meeting as well.
Okay.
All righty.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us, and welcome to the neighborhood.
Okay.
Mariama, you're next.
I wanted to report a gridlock that occurred today on Gold Street because I think it may occur again. I believe there were a number of small school buses on both sides of, double parked on both sides of Gold Street. My presumption is that these are at least some of the small school buses that normally line up on Ann Street. There were a lot of them though. And the reason it was particularly problematic is because not only because they were double parked, because on Gold Street we have several public parking spaces, but they tend to be filled by placards and official cars that don't pay to park. But that's another story. So the people had to double park because those cars like never move. And so they were double parked on both sides, and we're across the street from the hospital. So between Fulton Street and Spruce Streets, that's 3 blocks. It was Fulton and Beekman, these buses. So an ambulance going southbound and 2 going northbound could not go down Gold Street. In addition to, the other cars that were UPS truck, private cars like myself, could not go down Gold Street. But what was more important was the ambulances couldn't get through. And one of the EMS workers had to get out of the ambulance to like knock on the doors of the school buses to ask them to move. So I called 311. They said that since it was happening live in the moment, they would transfer me to DOT, but I just got transferred to some sort of like automated system hell. So I signed up to mention it here. If there's anybody from DOT listening, or if there's a way to reach out to them to let them know that this occurred, maybe they can avoid it happening again. Find somewhere else for the buses to line up, or pick one side of the street for them to line up on, or something like that. That's all. Thanks.
Thanks, Mariama. Moving on to the next person. I see that Leslie Clark has signed in, but I do not see her hand up in the public area. Could you raise your hand, Leslie, if you're signed on? And for Erica Waltz Filer, if you don't mind signing in, if you need the sign-in link, we'll post it in the chat again. Let me just see if I find Leslie. Not seeing Leslie, let's move to Erica Waltz, and office team, if you can take David Sharkey's hand down. Thanks. After Erica will be
sending the link to the sign in the chat. I'd be happy to sign in as well. Sorry about that.
That's okay. Your 2 minutes go. Welcome.
Thank you. I just wanted to say hi to everybody, and that I've been living in Tribeca for 15 years, and I love this community. And I wanted to speak to advocate for the Fouquet's, the Hotel Barriere, that they've been awesome. I live a few blocks away from them. They're quiet neighbors. There's never any riffraff. They keep the streets tidy. And I'm very excited that they're a part of the community. So just wanted to provide that little insight.
Okay, thank you very much for coming, and thank you for joining us at the public session.
Thank you so much.
Ursula Young, and I apologize if I haven't pronounced that correctly. Ursula, you should be able to unmute yourself. And after Ursula would be Alexa Cohen. Please make sure you have also signed in.
Oh, yes. Can you,
Yes, we can hear you. Welcome to Community Board 1.
Thanks. Hi. I actually, it's sort of Mariama's comment about Gold Street is a good lead into my question. Because perhaps some of that backlog on Gold Street is because of what's going on Ann Street. I walked past there a couple of days ago because I was going to New York Presbyterian. And because of the garage collapse, there is still obviously a lot of work going on in that area, but it's also still very dusty. And I still have some PTSD from being in the area post 9/11. And not to say this is anything like that scale, but I'm wondering if there is anything going on with EPA assessments or just looking into the asbestos situation or what's happening to just around environmental issues down there. Thank you.
Well, I encourage you to stay and listen through our district manager's report, and he'll give updates on the garage collapse and Ann Street. So thank you very, very much for coming, and please don't go anywhere. Alexa Cohen, you will be next.
Wanted to also jump in and advocate for the newest addition to the neighborhood, Phuket. I live kitty corner to them at 440 Washington Street. They've been a great addition to the neighborhood. They're wonderful operators. The street is pristine next to them. And I couldn't say anything else. I can only say positive things. That's it.
That's it. Okay. Well, thank you very, very much for coming, and thank you for speaking up. Please make sure you've signed in so we have your contact information.
Okay, will do.
456 Greenwich, yes. Alrighty, I'm looking to see if there's anyone else who has not spoken yet. She just went. Yep. Yep, but that's in the business session, unless Leslie Clark is here. Leslie, are you on yet? Let's see if Leslie Clark is here. She is the last one to have signed up, so with that, we will close the public session, seeing no hands in the public area any longer, and then we will open the public hearing. Tonight's public hearing is at 6:28. Public hearing was about suggestions for adaptive reuse of public buildings in Community District 1. We're going to recognize Alice Blank, our vice chair.
I think it's a very important topic. We'll be looking at it specifically for the Manhattan Detention Center later tonight under the executive committee piece of the agenda. But just generally the idea of adaptive reuse for public buildings in all communities, but particularly our district, is something that I know our committee, the Environmental Protection Committee, will be looking at with some detail. And so I encourage when that comes on the agenda that you attend. One of the things we'll be looking at is a bill that we're hoping that somebody writes that looks to assess the amount of carbon embodiment that's involved in a demolition before the building goes down, as well as what is going to be part of it going up. So that should be something the city does before they allow for any buildings that they own to come down. So that's part of it. And all thoughts on this would be most welcome, and all expertise at that upcoming Environmental Protection Committee on this adaptive reuse and environmental impacts. Okay, thanks.
Seeing no other people who have signed up to speak about this online, seeing no hands in the room, correct, and no hands online, we will now close the public session at 6:30 and then start our business session as long as we have quorum. So can we do a count for quorum? Okay, so put your hand up, please, if you are a member of CB1. Fantastic. Having quorum in the room, we can start our business session for the members of the public who are with us. Please note the business session is specifically for the community board members and the elected reps, so we do not take questions from the floor. We do not recognize people unless there's an unusual need to do so. So I ask for just some decorum and patience with us. If you have something to say, you can certainly, if you're online, chat with the host. If you want to raise your hand or go see Lucy in the back of the room, that is fantastic. And with that, let's go for an adoption of the March 2023 minutes, and that is a roll call vote.
I love doing roll calls. Just do, I mean, you can type them in for me. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, Amoruso. Alice Blank. Thanks. Brown Kennedy. Thanks. Cameron.
Yes.
Thanks. Cassell.
Cell's here. She's just not in the room right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Second call.
Colley.
They have to
Nope.
speak loud.
Okay. Chang. Thank you. Chapman. Thank you. Charcudian.
Yes.
Thank you. Cole. Thanks. Coleman. Thanks. Corman. Thanks. Kucha.
Yes.
Thank you. Curtis.
Yes.
Thank you. Airman.
Just have to say yes to this vote. Hold on.
Oh, Flynn, yes. Forsberg.
Forsberg, yes.
Thanks. Friedman. Thank you. Froman. Thank you. Galloway. Thank you. Goldstein.
Yes.
Thank you. Joyce.
Yes.
Camera.
Camera's on.
Oh, perfect. Jew. Thank you. Kay. Thank you. Cannell. Thank you. Kettering. Nope. Yep. Capel.
Yes.
Thank you. Lerner.
Lerner, yes.
Thank you. Lewinson. Back to you. Lynn. Negative. Lyon. Thank you. Mahoney. Thank you. McHugh. Nope. Alrighty. Meltzer.
Meltzer, yes.
Thank you. Minsley. Thank you. Moore. Thank you. Pandya.
Absent.
Absent. Robinson.
Robinson, yes.
Thank you. Star. Star.
She's online.
Oh, hey.
Waving.
Can't hear you.
Am I muted?
No,
Oh,
it's
not anymore.
No.
Say it one more time.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Jimmy Sung.
Yes. No.
Alrighty. Thank you. Vera Sung. Thank you. Townley. Thanks. Z. Not online. Alrighty. You.
Yes.
Thank you. Seltzer. Nope. And you just got back from where you were, Cassell.
Yes or no? You have to say your last name in the vote.
Thank you. And anybody else that's here that we know is here that I missed? McHugh?
No. Absent.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Zelter?
Late.
Check the attendees one last time. So we have a member that's stuck in there. Let's see anybody.
Okay.
That's it.
Thank you.
Motion passes. Let's move along to the updates from our elected officials. I think we're going to start with Emily from Senator Kavanaugh's office. Although, did I see Tevin? Sorry, I'm looking at my sign-ins. I apologize. We'll start with Tevin. Please move all of the elected reps over to panelists so we can see them and they can see us and all the fun that goes with. We'll go Tevin and then Emily. And then Roy, who's with us in the room. And then Jasper. Emily, you're going to go next.
Should I start? Can you hear me?
Absolutely. And if you turn your camera on, we can even see you. There you go. Oh, I see you. Fantastic. Hi, Emily. Welcome.
Am I big on the screen? That's embarrassing. Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Emily from Senator Kavanaugh's office. Great to see you all. Hopefully I can be there in person next month. I'll start with some legislative updates from our office. As everyone probably knows, negotiations on the very late state budget are still ongoing. The Senate and the Assembly passed a budget extender that goes until this Friday, at which point they'll either need to pass another extender or, if the budget is done by then, they'll start voting on budget bills. Unfortunately, none of us really have a great sense of when things are going to wrap up, but we'll keep everyone updated as we know more. Outside of the budget, I wanted to highlight an op-ed that Senator Kavanaugh wrote jointly with Assemblymember Rosenthal, who's the chair of the Assembly Housing Committee, advocating for the Housing Access Voucher Program, which they sponsor in their respective houses, and which would provide rental assistance vouchers to people who are homeless or at risk of homelessness. Senator Kavanaugh has also introduced a number of new bills recently related to health and environmental conservation, which I'll go through very quickly. S6055A, which would ban 5 common food additives that have shown to have harmful health effects and are already banned in a lot of European countries. S6327, which would establish new targets and timelines for New York's offshore wind electricity generation. S6105, which would require producer responsibility for the collection and recycling of refrigerants. S643A, which would maximize the removal of unwanted rechargeable batteries from the solid waste stream, and S6419, which would enact a mattress collection program and require mattress producers to establish a plan for the recycling of used mattresses. Outside of legislative stuff, moving on to community updates. As has already been mentioned tonight, last week, as everyone knows, a parking garage on Ann Street in the district collapsed with tragically 1 death and several injuries. We've been in touch with DOB, Emergency Management, FDNY, and other agencies to monitor the situation and provide assistance where we can. And just to the point that was made earlier, I know that DEP has been doing air monitoring around the site for asbestos, and nothing out of the normal has been found so far. But I don't know if Lucian maybe has more updates on that later. Another big item from last week, as many on the board know already, at last week's CB1 Quality of Life Committee meeting, the city announced that they had issued a full demolition permit for one of the towers at the Manhattan Detention Complex. Our office, along with our colleagues, the community board and community advocates, had a meeting with City Hall and DDC at the beginning of March, where we were promised a number of documents, requested a pause on demolition, and got commitments for a follow-up meeting. We were obviously extremely disappointed to see the city decide to move forward before fulfilling those commitments, and after last week's meeting, expressed that to the city and had a number of discussions with them and our elected colleagues, and were able to get a 2-week pause on any demolition work that would be inconsistent with adaptive reuse, and a commitment to scheduling a meeting with the community immediately. So we're working on that scheduling, and we'll keep the board fully updated as things progress on that. Other than that, we have our next 250 Water Street Working Group meeting this Thursday. We're also continuing to work on the local implementing legislation for our Mitchell-Alma and Battery Park City, SCREE, DREE, SHE, and D bills with Council Member Marte's office and Assembly Member Glick's office. I'll stop there and happy to take any questions.
You look fabulous up on the screen. Don't worry. Do I have any questions in the room from anyone? Seeing no hands in the room, do I have any hands online? Seeing no hands online, thank you very, very much for coming. And let's move to next. We have Roy, who's joined us in the room. So Roy, thank you so much for coming. From Assemblymember Glicks, please join us at the podium.
Hello, can you, oh yeah, you can hear me. Okay. I hope everyone is enjoying the popcorn. It's really I'm Roy Ruiz from Assemblymember Deborah Glick's office. So as you've heard, the budget is running a little late. We'll see this Friday if we have to pass another extender. On March 24th, Assemblymember Deborah Glick had a rally with Assemblymember Grace Lee, with Christopher Marte, Senator Kruger, opposing the lift of the FAR cap. The Assemblymember has introduced a bill that would, in response, allow for the existing commercial buildings with an FAR that exceeds 12 to be converted to residential units with the condition that they render 40% of units of permanently affordable housing. So that's something that she has worked on. In terms of the climate, so a couple of weeks ago, the governor requested to change the timeline that New York State uses to calculate greenhouse emissions, largely as a way to reduce the costs that are associated with the changes that need to be made to meet the climate goals. And she came out in opposition to that as well. This past Friday, we had a rally at Foley Square with a youth group. I think it's called Fridays for Future, New York City, and representatives of New York Renews, Triage, and 6th Street Community Center came together to call upon action for the climate change and climate goals. Highlighted the Climate and Community Protection Fund, which Deborah spoke about. And in addition to that, I'm conducting a composting event on May 11th and the AIDS Memorial, which is St. Vincent's Triangle. So I'll be there with DSNY promoting, composting and raising awareness and giving out information about that. That is what I have so far, and I have a couple of these packets. Oh, by the way, today, awesome news as well, since it's Earth Day. We passed the bill, the Birds and Bees Protection Act, which would ban the sale of seeds that are coated with certain pesticides. The bill is A03226, and I have a couple of packets over there, and that's it for me, unless anybody has any questions.
I see one hand up.
That'll be from 11 to 1. So I'll be there May 11th. Yeah, thank you.
Roy, I'm looking for online questions. I see none. So thank you very much for coming. And we really appreciate you coming in person. We like that support, so thank you. We're going to call Jasper. No offense intended to you. I know you're online. Jasper Scott from Assemblymember Lee's office.
Next time, I promise.
And yeah.
Hi guys, I'm here. My name is Jasper. I am representing Assemblymember Grace Lee. I am her communications director. Our updates would largely echo those from Senator Kavanaugh and Assemblymember Glick's offices. The state budget is still being worked on in the final stretch, hopefully. In the budget, we're proud to support a couple different initiatives related to our priorities, including most notably renewed funding for the ERAP, Emergency Rental Assistance Program, to cover the arrears of applicants who have been denied thus far because they live in public or subsidized housing, as well as funding for what's called the Equity Budget Coalition, which is sort of a coalition of Asian-led organizations that will be dispersing this funding to support more locally based AAPI organizations throughout the state. Also notable in recent news, as Senator Kavanaugh's office mentioned, there has been, our office has been involved in conversations between City Hall and community stakeholders to get the DDC to consider an adaptive reuse approach for the construction of the new Chinatown-based borough jail. Last week, we were disappointed in the issuance of a permit to begin demolition on the Manhattan Detention Complex, and then the DDC's decision to move forward with this demolition without considering adaptive reuse like they had committed to doing in previous meetings we had had with them. So like was mentioned, we were vocal about the disappointment, and we got City Hall to agree to a 2-week pause on the scheduled demolition work, and we are tentatively scheduling a new meeting to sit down and once again discuss the adaptive reuse approach. In other news, our office and Assemblymember Lee we have introduced our first bill in our freshman term here. It is what is informally being called the Asian Curriculum Bill, which is a bill that will mandate that Asian American history is taught in New York State public schools. So we are very excited about that. And yeah, those are all the brief updates from us. Thank you, guys.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Next, we have Andrew Chang from our Manhattan Borough President's Office. Andrew, welcome. And after Andrew, we'll have Max from Councilmember Marte's office.
Good evening. Good evening, Manhattan Community Board 1, Tammy, Lucian, Lucy, Alice, everybody. The first thing I want to mention is that thank you all for supporting the resolution regarding 1 million more trees. This resolution was passed by all the Manhattan Community Boards, City Council members, and the Manhattan Borough President's Office during the April 2023 Manhattan Borough Board meeting. This resolution asks for the planting of 1 million more trees by the year 2030. Secondly, we recently put on our website a form for constituents to suggest potential sites for housing development. This form is the next phase in our Housing Manhattanites plan, which aims to tackle the city's housing crisis. I'll put the link in the chat. It's a simple form. Anybody can suggest locations in New York City where it can be developed to, where they can suggest sites that can be developed to potential affordable housing. This was mentioned last month, but we released a report on sidewalk sheds and scaffolding. We list several suggestions on what we can do to expedite the removal of these sidewalk sheds and scaffolding, which often remain for many, many years without work being done on buildings. So I'll put the link to the report in the chat as well. And then lastly, the Manhattan Borough President recently testified in support of Right to Counsel, a law that he introduced during his time in the City Council. And this law provides a lawyer to those facing eviction in housing court. Unfortunately, due to the avalanche of eviction cases, tenants are struggling to get legal representation. That's why the borough president, Mark Levine, is calling on the state courts to slow the calendaring of housing cases if the tenant does not have an attorney. That's all. That's all I have to report. Thank you, and have a good evening.
Oh, Andrew, let's wait and see if anybody has any questions for you. Does anybody have any questions for Andrew in the room? Seeing no hands up, either online or in the room. Thank you very much, Andrew. We move to Max from Councilmember Marte's office. Welcome, Max.
Thank you. Thank you. Good to see you all. Knowing also I'm able very self-conscious on the big screen, but it's kind of cool. But yeah, so kind of in our office, kind of the big thing, as other people have mentioned, there was the parking garage collapse in 57 Ann Street. So yeah, we've been in contact with all the different agencies as well as, a number of neighboring residents. A lot of people have been vacated from their apartment and, haven't been able to access their belongings in their apartment. Haven't really been hearing any updates from DOB. If you are someone who's in that situation, someone in that situation, or if you also, contact our office. Also, people who had their cars parked, not just in the garage that collapsed, but there's also a parking garage neighboring the parking garage on 25 Beekman Street that they also have not been able to get access to their car. So, anyone, if you or someone who has not been able to access their car or their belongings in the parking garage in a neighboring building, come to our office. We're trying to keep track of everyone. So yeah, please be in touch with us about that. And again, I don't want to, repeat what everyone else said, but, the council members also been involved in all the discussions around the Manhattan Detention Complex, with City Hall, with DDC. So, as soon as, that meeting happens in a couple of weeks, you'll hear from us as well. The council member sent a letter to the Battery Park City Authority, urging them to engage in good faith negotiations with the Battery Park City Homeowners Coalition to not increase the ground rent to the extent that the Battery Park City Authority Board currently wants to, and to have our office be involved in conversations to really have these good faith negotiations that haven't been happening over the past few years. And so I know there is a meeting in a few weeks. We hope to be part of that meeting with the Authority Board and the Homeowners Coalition. So we'll see how that goes. And we really want to try and be part of that conversation as it continues. Today is on budget. We have this is a big day for us. We submitted our capital requests. So hopefully we will find out in the next couple months, what we're going to be able to be funding in the district. I was hoping that I'd be able to have our participatory budget winners. I don't want to give you the wrong winner, but I think we got around over 2,000 votes, which is a huge increase from last year. So thank you everyone who voted, who sent the link around. Next year we'll do even better, and hopefully, get even more votes, get more citizens, engaged in the community. So as many of you I'm sure are aware, we had a rally at City Hall a couple weeks ago for home attendants for our No More 24 bill, which would end the 24-hour workday for home attendants in New York. Currently, we're waiting on the speaker, Adrienne Adams, to bring it to a vote in the council, which hasn't been done yet. And so thank you everyone who attended that rally. We had, I think it's estimated between 500 to 800 people, home attendants, just, community members, activists, just people, coming to support this. And we're having another rally next week on May 1st in honor of May Day, again at City Hall at 12 p.m. I think we're expecting even more home attendants to show up, more people. So show up, support this, we can kind of end this inhumane practice. And then lastly, I wanted to share that while not in Community Board 1, it is in still District 1. We're all one district. Our office is working with the Sanitation Foundation to do a cleanup of Chinatown on May 13th, Saturday, May 13th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. The councilman will be there, just kind of doing street cleanup in the area. If you want to learn more about that, join that. Also for the home attendant rally, please contact me, contact our office, and we can give more details. And with that, I'll take questions.
We do have some questions in the room, and I do have one comment for you, Max. Expect a call from us tomorrow, because on our way into the meeting, we heard from residents at 47 Ann Street, and they need some advocacy and help with city agencies. So expect a call tomorrow from Lucian. First question goes to Colin in the room, and then Gerald has his hand up after Colin.
I'm not sure if you can hear me. Oh, here we go. Thanks again, Max, but my car was one of the cars that was crushed in 2527 Beekman, but I'm not concerned about that. I'm concerned about the family of the gentleman who was killed. And I think Lucian might be covering this too, but I personally, and I hope the community board would want to get behind not just that family, but all the men who can't work for the next several weeks because of it. A lot of them may be undocumented, I'm not sure, but either way, they work hour to hour, day to day, and they deserve our help. So I'm not sure if you know it, Max, or if anyone else in the room knows it, but we should help however we can.
Yeah, definitely. You know, we haven't had contact with any of them, but if anyone knows them, knows a way to contact them, yeah, you know, we're happy to help them however we can.
Okay, let's move online. Gerald, you have yours, and then Vicky.
So, Max, my understanding is that there were quite a number of DOB violations on this parking garage going back a number of years, decades actually. What is the council member doing to address that? And I guess my other question would be, is there a concern, are there violations on the other parking garage where folks are not able to access their cars there? And is that being addressed? Any possible violations there? In other words, do we have to worry about this now with other parking decks throughout the community? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So I know for in the first point, I mean, this is an issue that I think now the whole, you know, city, I think there's a citywide parking garage kind of, I don't know if there's maybe a gap in enforcement. I think, you know, that we're recognizing citywide. So I do know I do think some bills have even already been introduced that would require now, like really quickly, every parking garage to be inspected. I can, yeah, if you want to reach out to her, I just don't have that information on the top of my head. But if you want to reach out to our office tomorrow, I can look into that, and yeah, happy to discuss more, talk with our legislative director. And then in terms of the second question, so I know, yeah, like there's the parking garage next door. I don't think they have any violations, but I know the reason why the parking garage next door has been closed is because they are inspecting to make sure that, you know, there isn't anything that could, if, you know, if cars try driving out, that the building isn't structurally damaged either from before the collapse or because of the collapse.
Thank you.
Vicky, you're next, Vicky. Cameron?
Apologize. It's a technical glitch. I do not have my hand up and I can't lower it. I apologize.
Don't worry, we can lower it for you. Vicky, did you touch that again? I think you got a stuck key there. Okay, we'll just... Okay, we're good. Anybody else, any other... Alice Blank?
I just want to give a note of thanks to our assembly member and our council member and our senator, because had you not all shown up at that wonderful quality of life meeting so brilliantly done by Pat, this wouldn't have happened. And that is for sure. So a big, huge thank you for that and for everybody who showed up.
Okay, seeing no other hands in the room, no other hands online. We will thank all of our elected reps and move on to our treasurer's report. Mariama, you ready? And don't forget, if you're online, your cameras need to be on, please. Not hearing Mariama, moving forward to the district manager's report, and we'll come back to Mariama. Lucian, take it away.
Thanks, Tammy. Everyone hear me okay? You hear me on Edge? Okay, great. Wonderful. Hi, everyone. I'm Lucian Reynolds. I'm the district manager of Manhattan Community Board 1. Thank you so much for everyone coming here today to DCTV. So far, so good. This has been a long time coming. As you all know, we spent a couple months just trying to, you know, get all the issues worked out of our process for meeting in person after many years of being remote only, and now we are starting to move around the district. So my thanks to John Alpert, the team, Eric, Emily, who are helping us today, and of course to the CB1 staff for just checking everything that we could before this meeting started. Also, we're joined by Winnie, our intern from CUNY today. Thank you also for helping us today, Winnie. So the first thing I'll report on is earlier in the month, I did before the collapse. I did a walkthrough with Pace University and their contractors and SL Green to just make sure that we're minimizing quality of life impacts for the new construction on Nassau and Beekman. I'm happy to say that they're very close to being finished with the project. There's two main parts to the issues that people are experiencing. One is that Con Edison is installing gas and electric on two different parts across the street. So there's night work that's involved with that. And so that's something that there's a couple things that we can ask them for to do, but you really can't avoid the night work there because the DOT mandates that that happen at night. Otherwise, Nassau is completely closed under normal conditions. But the hoist is down. They'll be recladding it, and hopefully all the noise will be contained for that work. So moving on to Ann Street, I have some updates that I got from the Office of Emergency Management that I want to read out to everyone, just so everyone is as up to date as the CB1 office. And I had it and it just went away. Hold on. Here it is. So FDNY is the agency that is in charge of the demolition and most of the site conditions. NYPD is securing the area. DOB has issued vacates and remain in place orders. The private contractor reports shoring, construction of a security fence, and overhead protection installation is still being coordinated with DOB. Shoring, to make it a lay term, is the stabilization and the prevention of any additional collapse. So that work is going to have to finish before they move back to further demolition. Demolition operations will be occurring Monday through Saturday during daylight hours. NYPD will coordinate with emergency management to allow residents access to vacated residential units once the shoring operations are completed. DEP reports air monitoring will continue and all readings are within a normal range. And this is something that Emily and Max referred to earlier, but they've been air testing for asbestos. And sanitation will continue to coordinate pickups as needed during the midnight tours. For those who are displaced, DOB writes to me that tenants can call 718-422-8700 to add their names to the list, to be able to go directly to the site after 3 p.m. to pick up. For those who are impacted by partial or full vacate orders, to retrieve personal effects. We're working with DOB to get a better idea of when the residents can return back to their homes, but it must be awful. Yesterday's Department of City Planning certified the zero net carbon citywide text amendment. So everyone should look forward to having a conversation about that next month in the Land Use, Zoning, and Economic Development Committee meeting. 60 Wall Street has not yet certified. So that is something that we're still waiting, but there's two meetings with the CPC next month where that could happen. So I'll keep everybody up to date. Justine asked me to, even though last time I talked about something in Battery Park City, I made it to the broadsheet. I'm going to one last time give a Battery Park City update. She wanted me to make sure that everyone knows that there's going to be a ceremony tomorrow morning at the police memorial, and that will require all the cars parked along South End Avenue and PPC to be moved or towed. So if you prefer to move it, please do so before tomorrow morning, just to be safe. Signs are posted, but you don't want to get towed. So I don't have the time the event starts tomorrow morning, but there should be signage on the street. Justine, do you know what time it should start?
It starts at
9:30 a.m. So the event starts 9:30, so that means setup, load in will probably happen an hour to hour and a half ahead of that. So, treat it like alternate side parking, people. Well, with that, Tammy, I think I close my report.
Thank you. So let's backtrack to the treasurer's report, please. Mariama is here and it is up. It's not only in your packets, but it is on a slide behind us. Mariama, take it away.
Hi, so sorry about that. My bank called me that there's fraud on my account right now. So I put my camera off for a moment. I apologize. We had a pretty uneventful quarter as far as both income and payments, debts, and things. With the highlight being Onej ordering office supplies, I guess, so she can get better settled in. So that was exciting, I suppose, of all that went on. And we did get some good news with regard to the union, the city union employees, like Onej and as well as Lucy, that they have. There's been negotiations settled in their favor, and a raise is due to them. Lucian is going to look into it further to see whether the board itself has to, pay for that raise, or if the city is going to be doing it. And that was it. Any questions? Nope.
Seeing no hands in the room and no hands online, there are none. And I can give you the update that the city will be paying for that, for the raise, which is like, woo! So there we go.
Wonderful. Congratulations, people.
Thanks,
on your raises.
Thanks, Mariama. Let's move on to the chair report. And I'm just noting it's 7:06 and we're rocking. So let's keep it going. All right. So here's where we've been. April was a lovely month with lots of holidays and yet somehow still a busy one. Yesterday, Alice and I were out at Governor's Island. There's a lovely picture of our mayor announcing the new climate exchange, which is what the new climate center is called on Governor's Island. For those who are familiar with what we saw as a board, it's most closely related to proposal 3 with many changes, including design changes. It'll be really groundbreaking, no pun intended, and transformative for the island with lots of new open space being promised. So it's really very exciting. Please take a look at the mayor's. Oh, Patrick was out there as well yesterday, so we saw Patrick Cannell there as well. So that was fun. Opening of Pier 57. I'm going to mark that even though it's not in our district, I would love everybody to go take a look at what a public-private partnership looks like at Pier 57. It is a really great pier. It has a ton of public space, a beautiful rooftop, restaurants, office space, meeting space. Google has their own floor. It is perhaps one of the best uses of a pier that I've seen. And as we're talking about resiliency and new things that are happening on the waterfront, I want you to all go visit Pier 57 and have that in the top of your mind when we're having these discussions about what the new build out would be and what perhaps the new market site could be and other things like that. It was really very spectacular. So moving down, it's been a very trial and error struggling month for the jail and the construction and the community. We did meet CB1 and CB3, Lucian and I, with the chair and the district manager to talk about some overlapping and connecting topics, including everything from the jail to Park Row to resiliency projects, and see how we can partner together to do meetings so we can have everybody in the room. That was a very good thing that happened during the month. And then I attended the Lower Manhattan Historical Association 3rd Annual Honoring of the 293rd anniversary of the consecration of the first Jewish synagogue. Lots of words, but probably my funniest thing was the delivery bikes running behind the speakers as we were standing there. But it was a lovely event, and I thank Catherine McVeigh Hughes, who was integral in making that happen. Let's move to the next slide. Oh, and I also did speak to Speaker Heastie today about the state budget and about redistricting, because I hear, and I hope I am incorrect, that they will put things about affordable housing back in the budget, but it doesn't sound like that's making it so far. We heard today that the citywide text amendment for carbon neutrality will come to land use in May for presentation. Everybody knows about the pause. We also heard from 5 World Trade Center LMDC. The CAC meeting was announced for next week. We haven't seen the agenda, but as soon as I do, I'm happy to circulate it with everybody. So take a look, be on the lookout for 60 Wall Street. 101 Barclay will be discussing bollards along Granite Street and Murray right there. So that will come into DOT next month. And pay attention to the agendas because they definitely will be robust for May. We will be virtual for committee meetings as far as we know right now, and we don't know where we'll be for full board, but we will be in person. And a lovely reminder, we need quorum. Next slide. There we are at consecration. All of us, it was pretty fun. Lovely, lovely neighborhood shots. We really appreciate the people who are submitting them. You can email them directly to Lucian. I'm running out of memory, so please don't have to feel that you need to text it to me or email it to me. Just send it to Lucian. All right, and with that, I close my chair report. Get out and about in the neighborhood, and let's move on to the business. All right. Intro 501A. Welcome to Intro 501A and the enforcement of the parking regulations. This was a very large topic at the full board last month at executive and again at executive this month. It has changed drastically from any other one that has been presented. I really hope you took the time to read it all. Everything that is in here was about removing the citizen versus citizen reporting and having no cameras there. What we did include, not sure what that was, right? Like, Jason hiding in the corner. What we did include, though, was a way to fix one of the largest problems we have in Community Board 1, placard parking, government car parking. So our resolution is focused not on private cars unless they're purporting to do official business, they have a placard, they have paraphernalia, and we have all seen paraphernalia from helmets to badges to construction vests to whatever the case may be. That is what the resolution is about, to take 501A and specifically curb it to that type of parking. And there's lots and lots of notes. Do I have hands and questions? Yeah, okay, I see 2 in the room. Any questions online? If so, please raise your hands. I'm gonna start with Jess and then move to Susan.
Okay, can you hear me? Yeah. Okay, so I appreciate that this is a compromise. There are obviously a lot of different views on this. We've been talking about this for over a year now. But I am going to have to speak out against this resolution, and I'm going to take you through very briefly the history of how we got here, because I've been the person that's been drafting these resolutions to start, and this one has become something that it wasn't intended to be. When this legislation was originally introduced over a year ago, we passed a resolution actually asking for it to be introduced, and our council member did that. If you remember, it had a financial incentive in there for filing complaints successfully. It passed with 65% of the board in favor of him introducing that bill. Christopher Marte went ahead and did introduce that bill with the financial incentive there. At the time, most of the objectors simply objected to the financial incentive that was included in the bill. Recently, I'm hearing myself twice, which is fun. A couple months ago, an amended form of this legislation was introduced in the City Council. It included a number of changes. Most notably in my view, it included a requirement that filers complete a digital training course. I viewed that as a major hole in the legislation, so I drafted a resolution very narrowly tailored, simply saying, let's remove that requirement so that we can go back and strengthen the position that we had already taken on this legislation.
1 minute.
I did not go and ask for the financial incentive to be reintroduced because I felt, a lot of us had concerns about that. So it was a very narrowly tailored resolution. It went to the executive committee. It passed unanimously. We came to the full board. We all know what happens. And now it went back to the executive committee, and we have ended up with a resolution that I think goes even farther than the compromise that was already reached at the City Council and puts a gaping hole in this legislation that we all agreed was really important. I mean, we all complain about parking, illegal parking in this district. This is a pretty narrowly tailored solution that just basically says you send your complaints to the Office of Administrative Trials and Hearings, it doesn't go to the NYPD anymore, and then we can actually do something about it. So I think we all agreed that this legislation was important. The legislation that is currently at the city council,
2 minutes.
the legislation that's currently at the city council is already a compromise. This goes too far in further watering down that legislation, and I don't think we should be supporting that. So sorry for going over. Thank you.
Susan, you're next. And then I think
I don't think I need a mic.
it's not for you in the room, it's for those online.
All right, I'll speak. I disagree with Jess, and I think that this was a great compromise, and I thank Jeff Galloway to my left for helping to get that done. Many of us were very hostile to this, Jess. We didn't agree with it from the beginning in terms of citizen input and arrest or reporting, whatever you want to call it. So I support this because I thought it was a very good compromise.
I see Betty in the back waving, and then after Betty will be Mimi. And we are holding to 2 minutes, Mimi's timing.
Yeah, this resolution was a result of a very hard-fought compromise to allow a real significant problem to be dealt with for the first time, that of placards, that of city-owned vehicles. But unfortunately, I may vote for it, I may not, I haven't quite decided yet. I have to say that I am very disappointed and I'm very embarrassed with what has turned out as part of the compromise, because I agree with Jess, it keeps getting worse and worse with each iteration that comes out. The reality is, I want to make it clear that private vehicles being exempt from any kind of repercussions when they do something illegal is just an anathema to me. The fact that they have a carve out, which is what we're asking the council members to look at, I think is ridiculous. So I want to know that I am strongly against allowing any vehicle to bully, to block, and to risk injury of pedestrians and cyclists with their multi-ton vehicles. Let's not forget that, without having any consequences. I urge the city council members at least to have the sense to pass an equitable bill that does not have carve-outs and to preserve entitlements for certain members of the public while holding everybody else responsible for their actions. Thank you.
Mimi, you're next. After Mimi will be Justine, then Jeff.
I'm a strong believer in training. I think that training will allow the public to understand. Really? Oh, it's on. I love training. I think training is great. So I took training for like a Skywarn, which teaches you how to measure hail and how to do some such on the ground spotting to report back to the National Weather Service. And it's incredibly helpful so that they can have an organized structure for how this reporting goes through. If we're not going to have some of the other structures that used to be in this legislation, then the least we could do is train people to accurately report what is out there and what is actually happening. And so then they'll also understand what they're seeing and when it is something that needs to be reported and when it's not. So anyway, I like the training.
Okay, Justine, then Jeff.
So much. So I take a little bit of a different tact because I have a real issue with the citizen on citizen complaining against each other for pretty much anything. This is a compromise, and at committee I voted against it because I still have an issue. It's a compromise, but it doesn't go far enough in my regard. And the only thing I wanted to point out is that it's not giving anybody a free rein to park any place they want. The violations still exist. What this is talking about is reporting, and we're talking about who's going to do the reporting and whatever criteria is there. So thank you.
Point of clarity, Justine. We took out the people versus people, and it's based on people versus government and placard. Okay. No, that's right. Yeah. Okay, Jeff.
And that was
the reason that I do now favor the version of the legislation is that it has eliminated the citizen on citizen. It's only citizen reporting government or people purporting to act for government or commercial. And I really don't think as a general rule, citizens should be reporting one another for quality of life offenses, for traffic offenses, for criminal activity generally, unless there is, I mean, for petty activity generally. I mean, these are not misdemeanors, they are not felonies, they are violations. And I think it's unwise to have citizen on citizen reporting of that. But I think it's the citizen's duty to report on the government when government people are not behaving properly. So I think the reporting that's in here is appropriate. This was a hard-fought compromise, but the problem that was identified that is really unbearable is the placard parking and the official parking that are blocking sidewalks and streets and so forth. Regular parking violations are not really much of a problem. I mean, I own a car. I know I can't park in a crosswalk. I can't park in front of a fire hydrant. I can't double park in the middle of the street and not expect to get a ticket. That's not to say that they're out there all the time, but they are out there very frequently all over Manhattan and all over our district. But the one thing that's not enforced is the placard parking and the official parking. And this legislation, as would be modified by our resolution, addresses that. So I'm in favor of this now, even though I was against the earlier versions.
Okay, thank you very much. I see still no hands online. Oh, I do see 2 more hands in the room. So we're going to go to Eric, and then Richard Corman's going to be our last hand that I see.
Yeah, Jeff, you said commercial, and I just checked. It does say commercial. I have a problem that this would be applied to commercial as well. The way that CB1 is
commercial already exists. There is already a reporting for commercial. Yep, it already exists. It's already law. It's already available through 311.
Sometimes trucks don't have a choice. The way how do they make deliveries? It's we're changing the street, which is fine to evolve, to be safer, but we all need our deliveries, and I just, we got to be practical as well. So I have a lot of ambivalence towards this. Also for placard abuse, I would instead recommend another way where the agency would have to explain each occurrence where somebody where it's reported that somebody used a placard. They have to justify why it was used. I just need this to be practical and not to be so onerous. And also the real problem is there's no enforcement, but it's so complex. But I haven't.
Eric, are you trying to ask for once a placard has been tagged and showed to justifiably? Because there's a process. It's not like park, report, and they get one. They have to go through the oath hearing and everything else. So are you trying to say that once they have been found in violation, which would go in concert with not being in the right place at the right time or doing the responsible thing, that there is a secondary?
I want the agency
to remove their potential placard?
Perhaps that placard holder had a valid reason responding to some emergency that's not evident to us observers. There just needs a way for them to explain.
Then that goes through the oath hearing. That's what the hearing's for.
Okay, thank you.
Richard, you're next.
Yes, I'm really puzzled by the issues that people are raising about citizen on citizen complaints, because this is what we do all the time with 311. And we're encouraged to do that. If you see something, say something. I really am quite confused as to why this has become an issue. This is what we try to do to keep quality of life something that we can all support and we all try to achieve. And so to say we don't want citizens reporting on one another is what we do all the time. So I really just can't see removing that second provision, and I just can't see the concern about that. I'm not particularly in favor of a bounty, but in terms of supporting people being able to report others, I think this is how we keep our city quality of life up.
Well, the good thing, Richard, is the legislation removes the bounty, so that is no longer an issue.
I'm fine with that. That's what I said. I'm fine with that.
Thank you. I've got two more hands, Cody, then Rosa. Cody, Rosa, Colin. And then I think if you agree with something that someone else has said, we're going to go back to the old rules of I agree with X. Please don't feel that you need to rehash the entire conversation. Okay? Cody, Rosa, Colin.
Okay, I agree with Richard. But I also want to say that I am one of those people who actually does call 311. I call 311 for a variety of different things, whether it be quality of life or safety concerns or a variety of things. So I am one of those reporters. And so I am citizen on citizen, so I think half of you must hate me, but I think that that is integral to making sure that we are able to sustain a certain quality of life. And we wouldn't go through that effort if it wasn't important to us, right, in our daily existence in this crazy city of ours. Number two, if this is only targeting placard abuse and we all know that that doesn't work, then isn't that literally the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result?
This is new. This is new. NYPD does not enforce placard parking.
Yeah.
If this is a completely different process. So if citizen reporting, then it goes to oath. So it can potentially work.
Because, okay, so I walk my kid to school every day and pick them up. And so I'm crossing a lot of busy streets every single day. And I would say that the parking that I see on the bike lane specifically as I cross the street, okay, I jaywalk to get to school and back. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that. But it's insane. It's all private vehicles. So then that doesn't make the route any safer. And what's the point of having a bike route, frankly, if there are vehicles clogging it all the way up and down Broadway, which is, the major issue. It's, so I guess I'm wondering, what's the point if it doesn't actually address the problem? Then why bother? Right?
15 seconds. Okay.
Good. Thank you.
Cody. Back to Cody.
I agree. Can you hear me? I agree with Richard 2000% about the fact that we already utilize 311 for these situations, but also just to talk a little bit about the mentality or the psychology about traffic violence in this city. It's not a petty situation. People's lives are at risk. And that's something that people have to take into consideration. We don't treat traffic violations with the same sense of lethality that they actually impose on pedestrians and on cyclists, yes, as a cyclist, and on automobile passengers, in fact. So that's just what I wanted to add.
Mariama, your hand is up online. We'll go to you and then Colin. Sorry, I ignored the online people. Colin, you're going to be my last in the room. You're going to be the last comment.
I just want to say that I make good use of 311 myself, and I do not view it as the same as people deputizing themselves in the streets to make reports. An extreme example of that is Trayvon Martin's death was as a result of somebody having deputized themselves, a neighborhood watch person, and somebody's kid didn't come home. I mean, the people on people, when they don't know the law, I agree with Mimi when we need the training. They don't know the law. They don't know what they're supposed to be reporting, and they appoint themselves from this higher place to handle things that police are supposed to be handling. Bad things happen, and so that's why I'm very much against it. That's all.
Thank you very much, Mariama. Colin, you have the last comment.
I agree with those who say putting people into conflict with each other is generally, God damn it. I think putting people into conflict with each other is generally a dangerous thing in today's day and age, but that's actually not what I'm asking. The last whereas, I just want to be clear, the amended bill is referring to the city council bill? Okay, that's it. I'm good.
Okay. Nope. Okay, I'm going to call the question. Do I have a second? I got 2 seconds. Perfect. I will remind everybody when we call this that even though you're sitting in this beautiful theater, you're on camera. So just keep that in mind. Nope, we're doing hand raise. So
Take down the slides so we can see everyone.
Nej, please take down the slides so everyone can be seen for their vote. All right. Here, you got water all over it. That's right, we're good. Okay, if you are yes, hand raise.
Are we counting?
Online, please put your hand up if you're a yes, and we're a count. Yep, like we used to do it. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're gonna do it this way. Okay. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 online. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh God, you're counting on me to count. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Jason, are you voting? Okay. I think that's 16, if I count correctly.
I think there were 7 online.
1, 2, 3, 4. All right. I have Mariama, Gerald, Paul, Francis, Joel, and Joe, you've got your hand up as well. Laura, your camera has to be on to vote. And Trisha, your camera has to be on to vote. Joe's right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. If you're going to be a no, I need to hear last name and no. So all those who are going to be a no, stick your hand up first, and then we'll get your votes. Okay. Is there anyone know who's online?
Cameron, no.
Thank you. Are there any saying no more hand?
Say it again. I read it.
Russo. And Maruso, you are also now marked present for the vote. Are there any abstentions?
Blank abstains.
Awesome. Townley abstains. Okay. And one more. Brown Kennedy abstains. Okay. So how many? Motion passes. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everybody. Zelter.
So I wasn't captured for the first roll call vote. Do I need to do anything?
You just need to announce that you are here in the room. Zelter is in attendance as well. Thank you. All right. Nicely, Tevin Williams is here from our congressman's office. So Tevin, can you move him over if he's not already? We're going to move you over as a panelist and have a short report. Thank you very much for coming.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Chairperson Meltzer and CP1. As always, it's good to see everyone. We've been very, very busy up here in the district office and then also in our DC office. I've already sent over our full board report. I just want to mention a quick couple of things and let y'all return to your meeting. So as I kind of said, the biggest thing I kind of want to put out into the community is that the congressional art competition is on its way of kind of closing up. If you have any submissions or have any questions about any submissions, please, we would love to honor someone in the community. So it goes all the way until May 1st. Please reach out to our office if you have any questions online or if you need our number. Your great district manager has it, or Tammy. Please call our Manhattan office if you have any questions. And then just wanted to keep everyone on their, make everyone aware about passports. We're getting a huge influx of passport requests. Please continue to reach out to us if you need any help with that. We are working to get them appointments for anyone that needs them. So please just reach out to us for that. And then that is pretty much it. I know that we have some people that have reached out to our office. I do want to bring this up about congestion pricing. I just want to make this very, very clear. We are not taking any bold stances on carve outs or anything. You know, congestion pricing is being implemented. We are just calling for the implementation timeline to move forward. The state actually ends up moving and having carve outs when it comes to and deciding of what that looks like. Please, if you have feedback on that, if you have any concerns, please, there is a way to email the office and let us know your concerns about what it means for you and your family or your household or yourself. And when it comes to that, again, this is more of a state issue when it comes to implementation. Ours is our op-ed with the Daily News just speaks more about that with Congressman Nadler and just asking for the timeline to move forward. Thank you so much again, everyone. And as always, if you need anything from our office, please reach out to us. Our office number, if anyone needs it, Tammy or Lucian has it, and I'm always happy to be helpful. Thank you so much, everyone.
Tevin, don't go anywhere. There are hands up for you.
Sure.
And just so you know, I'd be delighted to have our district manager share our resolution on congestion pricing with you, so you know exactly where the community board stands, and happy to share your information about that. Which puts me to, with the mic in the room, to Pat and to Justine and to Richard Corman, who all have questions. Again, folks, and Mariama, who's online, 2 minutes and no back and forth conversation. I apologize.
Sure.
Thank you. Hey, Tevin, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Good, quick question. So I'm trying to get my passport renewed. What is the specific problem?
What do you mean? Just like
You
what
said
we're experiencing?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we're just having a lot of people since it's right before summer. People are just trying to get their appointments done.
There isn't
So we're
any
having a huge
there isn't any
influx of
problem with the government office or anything. There isn't anything.
Oh, no, no,
Oh,
no,
okay.
no, no, no. Nothing is wrong. We're just getting a lot of them coming in because people are
Okay.
trying to start traveling.
Thanks, Tevin.
You're welcome.
Thanks so much, Tevin. Thanks for being here. So I'm going to talk about congestion pricing, and I guess I'll just make it sweet and simple. Please read our resolution, because a carve out for the people that live in Lower Manhattan or live in the catchment district, it's vital. People in Staten Island get a carve out for their travels back and forth. The people that live here should not be penalized for living here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Justine. Going to Richard Corman. Richard, raise your hand. There's a mic next to you. There you go.
Yes, hi, Tevin, and I'm going to echo what Justine said. I mean, if the congressman is going to be taking a position on timing, I could see him also taking a position on the content of and the actual structure of this bill that affects his constituents. So we would encourage him to read the resolution and support the community. Thanks, Tevin.
Yeah, I do want to speak about this. Just for everyone's kind of context, we do have like multiple pieces of the district that are different when it comes to our communities that live in transit deserts, or some that are, have access to transit but need it for income carve out. Again, I just want to make it very clear. Thank you. I will gladly read the resolution and pass it along to our team. The state is responsible when it comes to implementation of that. We have no federal nexus of like how it like is done. We know the EI, as all of you know, the EIS has been done, the environmental impact study has been done. It is going to be happening. We're just calling to say, let's move forward with the timeline of that. The state is actually there to kind of say what happens when it comes to carve outs. But again, please share your thoughts with us, and we have a transportation contact that is in our DC team that kind of reviews all of that information. But thank you, Richard.
Tevin, 2 more. Mariama, and then Mimi has the last call.
Sure thing.
Hi, Tevin. For what types of reasons are you looking to honor people? Like how do we determine who is appropriate to suggest?
I'm sorry, say that one more time, Mariama.
You are looking to honor people for what types of reasons? For what are you looking to celebrate? Like how do we know who's appropriate to recommend?
Recommend for what?
You said you were looking to honor people? Did I mishear you?
Oh, yeah, we have the congressional art competition.
Okay.
Yeah, for kids or anyone that you know that's in high school. If you have anyone
It's not
that
honoring Mariama, it's submission of artwork.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are the age groups?
Anyone in grade school that wants
Anyone
to
in
do
grade
it.
school.
And it's on our website as well, the information for the art competition. It just goes until May 1st. So you have plenty of time to submit things.
Okay, great. And thank you to your office for coming to our Quality of Life meeting to help me out with the 9/11 resolution.
Yeah, you are very welcome. And please, if anyone has any questions, for everyone's awareness, I would like to thank you, Mariama, for bringing this up. We're actually getting a briefing on the 9/11 Victims Fund, and also the September 11th piece of that as well. So I'm sorry, both pieces of those in the next couple of weeks. So I will share some updates with the community board of what we receive from that. It's actually happening at 26 Fed. I'm catching up on emails after being out for vacation, but I wanted to express that as well and let everyone know that we'll have some updates from our office for both of those.
Mimi's
Thank you.
next.
Hey, so in regards to placard parking and government vehicles, in our district particularly, there is a PDF report regarding congestion pricing that includes alternatives. And in that report, there's a chart that shows that the climate goals can also be reached by preventing placards from parking in the city. I have the PDF. It's a really big PDF. I used to know exactly where it's located. I'm sure I could do a search, but I'm sure you could do a search also for the alternatives chart. But yeah, it feels like if we're really interested in helping with this, what is it? Where there's bad emissions.
Yeah.
We could also get rid of some placard parking. It could just be such a bonus in addition to congestion pricing. And also with the congestion pricing, I was looking on the MTA website for the MTA Bridges and Tunnels resident programs, and there's carve-outs for the Staten Island residents with the Verrazano Narrows Bridge toll, where it equals $2.75 instead of what is it?
The regular tax, yeah, of
Yeah.
like the double digit tax, right? Yeah.
For people that live in Staten Island. And then there's another one for Rockaway, Broad Channel, Queens residents,
Yes.
where they also get discounts. And I just don't understand why they would potentially get discounts and we wouldn't.
Right.
And we could get rid of placard parking. I don't know. It sounds like a really big win-win for me. Thanks.
And Tevin, since we do have federal placards in the neighborhood, we certainly would hope that you would support us on that.
Yeah. There's a couple of projects that deal with that as well that we've been briefed on. So yes, thank you. Again, we'll take a look at the resolution and I'll send it to our transportation contact who's in our legislative office in DC. And anyone feel free to send your comments and whatnot of what is going on or your thoughts on congestion pricing for CB1 or anything else. If that is all, Chairperson Meltzer, anything else?
Nope, that's good. Thanks for coming. Expect a lot of fun emails.
Yes. Again, yeah, please send it through the website.
We will.
Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great night.
Thanks, Tevin, for joining us. All right, moving along, the Open Dining Community Blueprint. We had a presentation from Leslie Clark from Q Up. There is a resolution on it. That resolution is before you. Do you have any questions? Colin.
Just a comment. I was one of those who abstained to this in committee. I actually agree in principle to what the organization is trying to put out there, despite my fighting for open dining during the pandemic, fighting vigorously for it. I just didn't feel like there was an open and transparent process to the vote. I feel like there should be folks who should be heard on this. I do think they need to go away, but I just want to make my vote clear, and for those who might be similarly inspired as to why I'm voting against it.
Okay, Patrick Cannell, you're next, and if we can get a mic to Patrick, his hand's up towards the back. Okay. All right, Susan Cole.
I think it's really good and it's very good for licensing where everybody comes. And, oh, I'm sorry, I have a big voice. And I think I urge everybody to vote for it. It's really thoughtful and well done.
Okay. I don't see any other, oh, I see one hand by Morton in the room. Morton?
Mitch.
No, Mitch. Sorry, I can't, I literally can barely see back that
All right,
far.
I understand. I have a question about number 7, and then in number 7, the 10th, the 10th within number 7,
Start on whereas 7. Yep, go.
okay, where it says give public space back to the public, okay, blah, blah, blah. And then it goes on to residential and visitor parking permits. Is that something that we've taken a stand on, or like, why is that included?
Where are you?
Maybe I'm on the wrong.
Oh, you're talking about you're talking about whereas 10.
Yeah, whereas 10, I'm sorry, yeah.
Point 10 of their blueprint.
Right, and then towards the last couple of sentences, the first sentence, fine, then consider genuine non-commercial community needs, fine. But then the residential and visitor parking permits, it's sounding like we're for that. And is that something, I don't.
It says consider, so it doesn't mean that we support. It says it's a topic for discussion to be considered for the public use. That is a discussion that DOT is having with communities as well. And it will come to us if DOT feels that it will. It's a consideration. If
I just didn't think it had anything to do with the open dining space, but okay, I was just questioning about
parking spaces.
Okay.
Okay. Next hand, Eric, you, and please make sure.
Yeah, I don't agree that the outdoor seating should be factored in to the public toilet requirements. I think it should only be included if the space currently doesn't offer any.
Which resolution are you on? Are you on the one that is, there's 2.
My mistake.
That's okay. This one is specific to queue up, right? And the conceptual concepts in queue up. The next one is where you're going. Anyone else on queue up? Seeing no hands online, I'd like to call the question.
Call the question.
Okay. Oh, dang, that works. I'm gonna go under the assumption of affirmation of yes. So I'm gonna then call for no's, abstentions, and recusals based on the temperature. All cameras must be on. Please don't make me call your name. And please be in the frame. Mr. Coppell, Ms. Starr. Sorry, I feel like a school marm. Chow, because you're on for the first time, you're going to have to announce yourself.
Chow Z.
Thank you. Chow Z is here for the record. Okay, so assuming everyone is a yes, do I hear any no's? If you're in the room, raise your hand, you will be recognized.
Mahoney, no.
Mahoney is no. Coleman is no. All right. Are there any no's for anybody participating online? Great. Are there any abstentions? Chang abstains. Cannell abstains. Kay abstains. I see you up there, Betty. Thank you. All right. You got that?
I missed the opposed.
Yeah. Okay. See, is there anyone online who abstains? Seeing no abstentions online, motion passes. That is for queue up. Thank you so much. Let's move to the next one. Oh, I assume there's no recusals. I apologize. No recusals, right? Fantastic. All right. Moving forward, let's look at the open dining, outdoor dining seating as a capacity to determine bathroom requirements. This is one of the conversations that not only came up during the queue up, but also has come from the restroom task force that we're working on with other community boards. So thank you again to Pat and to Justine, to Mimi and to Betty, who are in collaboration with many of the other boards. And we've heard Julie, who did a presentation to our board a while back, a couple months ago. We did one resolution. We're now moving forward to different topics and different conversations about this to be able to have places for people to go to the bathroom. It sounds like a dumb thing, but here we are. All right, do I have questions in the room? Eric, I know you go first because you had a question.
Yeah, I just want to reiterate that for the public toilet requirements, the outdoor seating capacity should only be included for if restaurants currently do not have to provide them, like if they were in existence before 1977 and have less than 20. But to add that burden on on restaurants that already have toilet facilities, especially since it's seasonal, I think that's an undue burden, especially considering it's seasonal.
Thank you. Any other hands up? Morton. Mike, you need a mic for the recording. I apologize.
It actually may be difficult for a lot of restaurants, some smaller restaurants, to expand a bathroom access. It's some restaurants are even struggle now. If they have bathrooms in the basement, they struggle with ADA compliance, things of that nature. They open themselves up for lawsuits by sticking bathrooms in places that are difficult to enter. They have narrow spaces; people can't access them with wheelchairs. It's something to consider, and the expense of actually providing bathrooms can be quite a lot for a lot of restaurants. So I think that's something to take into consideration.
I'll respond to the thought process that happened in the meeting, and that was one that if there were several restaurants, they could band together because it's about taking out the public space outside. And it wasn't that each individual restaurant had to have it. If there were multiple on a block, they could chip in together and work together. It was designed for flexibility is the word in the resolution. Whether that solves your problem or not. Justine, microphone for Justine, please.
Thanks, Lucy. And I just wanted to make a note that in reference to what was said about the seasonality, there are, and our point was to try to have temporary bathrooms. So there's an option for outdoor dining called Throne. It's in the resolution, and you don't have to have it out there all year. It comes, it goes. It's easy to set up. It's easy to keep clean, allegedly, and that's what we've heard in the working group. Thank you.
Justine, I see Mimi.
Hey, I have a question actually. So if a restaurant can't afford a bathroom, then they just don't get outdoor seating, is that correct? According to this, or they get fined? Oh, okay. So, but if they don't want to get fined, would they just not have the outdoor seating?
Or they partner with one of the other restaurants on the block to
Oh.
allow access. They would either partner with another restaurant on the block who has it to be able to provide that service. It doesn't have to be, but it's, talking about in the public realm.
Yeah.
Or maybe they don't have outdoor seating.
Okay.
I see a hand in the back. Is that Andrew? Okay, Zelter in the back.
Sorry, just a point of clarification. Are we saying in this resolution that outdoor porta potties satisfy the requirement of a bathroom?
As long as it meets the requirement for the Department of Health, yes. We're not talking about it has to have place to wash hands and use the facilities, as they say. Any other hands? I don't see any online. Rosa? Are you asking to call the question or have a comment? Okay. Mike is right there.
Thank you. We all know that we do not have enough bathrooms everywhere. I agree though with Morton that we are a very quirky part of town with a lot of really old stock buildings that make it exceptionally difficult for buildings to renovate, especially restaurants, to be able to increase their capacity to absorb new restroom requirements. I wonder if rather than trying to use porta potties, which I personally think are horrifying, we could perhaps establish a fund or something where we mandate that they go in towards a common pot specifically meant to establish restrooms in locations that would work for restrooms, and that they not be porta potties.
You're used to the standard kind of porta potties, but you have to think about not all
Are we
porta
talking
potties.
about the ones the nice ones on Governor's Island?
The nice ones on Governor's
Oh, okay.
Island.
I love the nice ones on Governor's Island.
Right.
Okay,
So we're talking about.
we got,
Yeah.
but we know that like individual restaurants, a lot of them just simply could not absorb this, right? Like that's,
It was a conversation we had about the use of public space. You know, if you're building a building and you're asking for more floor height, you know, there's a trade-off to that. That's how we have our publicly owned private spaces.
Yeah.
You're getting a public area that is public space. So this is the public give back bathrooms for the
and
public.
then there has to be a signage requirement so people know where the bathrooms are. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
You guys already thought about, okay, so nice, real fancy porta potties and, okay, just need that to be clear. Thank you.
All right, Richard, you have the last question, I think. I don't see any bulk of other hands, and I'd love to call the question after Richard.
Yes, I hate to agree with something that's already been said, but I need to do that. Rosa has a very good point about small business and the odd buildings that we have in Lower Manhattan. And Morton is certainly, I think, correct about pointing out how onerous this could be for a lot of our small businesses here. If the public space, if the outdoor dining was permanent or all year round, that could be a different argument, but it's temporary. It's seasonal, and I think this would impose an undue burden on so many of our restaurants, to the point of getting compensation, which we are calling for here. That's where the restaurants are giving back, as well they should. They are getting a public benefit. They will be paying for it. And that money should be used for public good, which could include bathrooms and anything else that is important. So that's where the restaurants can, in fact, contribute back to the public good for the public benefit that they're getting. But to require these small restaurants, these small businesses to do this, I think will be too onerous.
Are you making a amendment of any kind, or are you just not voting against it? Are you just voting against it?
I would vote against it, yes.
My only comment back is there are several restaurants included in our area that have been able to more than double their seating. We don't know what seasonality was. The original sidewalk cafe seating in the bathrooms, rules and regs around it that, you know, Vicki looked at and Jason looked at and helped us when we were taking a look at this. All of those sidewalk seating was truly not designed for bulk replacement of the indoor. It was a amenity. It was very tiny. It was not as expansive. There are restaurants that are able to double or more their seating capacity with the outside on corners and things like that, which is amazing. But we have to think forward, not back. We're not talking about the restaurants that, you know, have lost money. What we're now looking at is a new restaurateur. These are new rules going in for perpetuity. So a restaurateur picks a corner lot because they can maybe seat 50 inside and 100 outside. And so they're going to go, and the seasonal seating with the sheds that we have now, they have been up for years. This is not seasonal any longer. This is multi-seasonal. We don't know what the rules are going to be because we haven't heard them yet. This is our stake at saying, if you're going to let them be out there and it's going to be a 9 months a year or an 8 months a year or a 7 months a year, let's get additional seating with additional bathrooms. It's a health hazard to have a bathroom, to have a restaurant designed for 50 people with a stall to then have 150 people. So that's why it's going down this road. You are free to vote against it. Absolutely no problem.
Question, which I'm.
And then Alice seconded my call to question, which I said was after.
Where did this resolution come from?
Bob, I've already said it came from the came from the restroom working group. We have a task force that we work with several other community boards about public restrooms throughout the city. And the borough president. Yep.
Just a constructive comment. I could litigate some things I disagree with. Microphone.
And the question was called in second.
I know, but I think we should have a conversation as a board about reestablishing the small business subcommittee or whatever, because these are really important issues that need to be talked about. It's really expensive to run a business here. There's a lot of funky taxes for small businesses here. If you're an LLC in New York City, you get punished like no other city punishes you. It's impossible to keep a business running in the city. So we have to have these discussions.
I agree, and I would hope we have a small business zone. I'd love that.
A point of clarification, could someone just confirm that this, indoor, this resolution is? Oh, I'm sorry. Could someone, point of clarification, could someone confirm that this is the same resolution that is, been provided by the other community boards that you're working with on the, bathroom task force, or is this just board one? Has did 5 and all the others?
We start usually the process and they work along. So I know some of the other boards have already passed the similar ones that we have worked on. We are the first, as usual, we are community board 1. So with that note, we're going to run the same way we did before. So Mimi and Colin, get ready. We're going to assume everyone is a yes. If you are a community board member online, please have your cameras on so we can see your heads. And everyone will be a yes. We will call for, are there any no's? And if you are saying no, you must say your name and your vote.
Sorry. Oh, Mahoney, no.
Galloway, no.
Mimi, can you please?
You gotta yell because it's really hard.
Minsley, no.
Amoruso, no. You votes no.
Foreman, no.
Zelter, no.
Okay, online, is there anyone voting no? Are there any abstentions?
Forsberg abstains.
Are there any other abstentions? Seeing no other abstentions, are there any recusals? No recusals, no one needs to go use the bathroom, motion passes. Awesome. All right, let's keep going. We are rocking. That was resolution number 3 for executive committee. 9/11 Memorial, we approved their route for SAPO. Thank you so much for everybody. The American Heart Association, we abstained on their SAPO permit. They did agree, the leaders at American Heart Association, to return to the board, have a robust dialogue and look at the concerns we've had in the past about where potentially their starting line could be. That is my report on that. Attendance, everybody knows the bylaws and everybody keeps getting emailed reminders from Lucian, so there we go. Open Street amendments to DOT traffic rules. This was brought up at Borough Board. Borough Board is sending a letter to DOT to request more time during the public comment period because many boards, I think out of 12, only 3 of us had any idea that there was any rule change going on. And none of the community boards liked the fact that the community boards were given 30 days to comment once a permit came through, which doesn't work for the business cycle of a board. So with that, the Borough President's Office is sending a letter, and that closes my executive committee. Thank you, and let's move on. We have the, there we go. Thank you, Susan. I'm sorry, do you need a box?
I need a stool.
Yeah,
Anyway,
just take,
I'm gonna do them by
take the mic down. Take the mic and walk to the side. We're good with that. We know you.
that.
Yep.
Take it off. I can't. Sorry. All right, here we are. We're going to do it by the areas, and I would like to do the financial district area. I would like you to note that on 66 Pearl Street, I would like to make an amendment to the resolution that says the outdoor seating area is the street is too small. There are a lot of difficulties, and they would have, we're not going to approve it probably, but they would have to come back to us to discuss it. So that's my only addendum to that. And all the others speak for themselves on the financial area. So I need someone to, unless
Let's see if we have any questions. Are there any questions in the room?
I can ask them.
Seeing no hands, let's look online. Are there any questions online? Nope. Susan?
So will someone's, I'll call the question.
And seconded. Okay. We're taking all of the financial district, right, Susan?
Yes. Mariama had a question.
No,
Go on.
Mariama called the question.
Thank you. Well, we all did. Okay.
Or seconded.
All right.
all of the financial district. So here, hold on. So just for clarification, it is 1 Wall 3 New, 80 Nassau, 45 West Broadway, 66 Pearl, 88 Wall Street, and 140 Broadway. 140 is a report, so never mind that one. Okay, with that, assuming all are yes, are there any no's? Seeing no hands in the room, are there any no's online? Hearing no no's, are there any abstentions in the room? No abstentions in the room. Are there any abstentions online? Hearing none, are there any recusals in either area? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
We could take Governor's Island area and the Battery Park City, 200 Liberty, but Jeff asked me a question and I couldn't answer him, and maybe Onej can. I believe this golf zone, as it's called, is on the first and second floor, but we will make sure that that's in the resolution. But we could take both of those together. On the
On Governor's Island, yeah, I had a,
the board, Shu, you should know.
well, okay. Yeah, I just have a couple of friendly amendments. First of all, the whereas of the hours doesn't seem to match what's in the application. So I just want to make sure we're correct one way or the other, because the application is indicating till midnight, and for the weekends and for the Monday through Thursday. Not that I
No, we changed it with them.
Oh, you changed it.
We
Okay.
changed it.
So it is still, not that I cared. I just
No,
wanted
no,
to make sure it was
and we
consistent.
changed it, and that there are only certain times when the ferry is going to leave at noon, at midnight, Alice.
Okay, yeah,
And
yeah,
that's
no, no,
all
I just want to make sure it
administered
was
by, yeah,
consistent.
yeah, yeah.
It's not, okay, great. And then the other thing is, again, very different amount of seats. You're writing here 257, but again, in this application, I'm reading 102 seats. You know, and it's 27,000 square feet in the application. You have
It's,
25.
it's the larger number, but I will check it.
Okay, so just the numbers.
Yeah.
Then lastly, Susan, one thing that Tammy and I became aware of was when we looked this up on the website, Chitano, up pops a website which shows this as a private club. And we immediately called the trust, Claire Newman, who said, oh no, that's not accurate.
That's correct.
And they took the site down. I'd like to memorialize that.
Absolutely fabulous.
Okay, well, okay, terrific. So it's an amendment to memorialize that particular
That it is not a private club.
situation where the website of the applicant at Chitano.com indicated the establishment was a private club. Upon learning this, the Governor's Island Trust assured CB1 that this was not the case and asked Chitano to remove this incorrect information from their website, which they did. And I can give you the date just so we have a record of that. Thanks. Okay, that's it.
So can I call the question?
Susan, per your question, for Golf Zone on 200 Liberty, it's ground floor, second floor, and then a terrace is what's to be licensed. It just, from what I'm reading, I don't
thought it
recall.
was not a terrace. I thought it was an outdoor small space. We did
That's
not
maybe
give
what
them.
they're saying, but
and we
I'm just
did not
reading
give
from
them-
the.
Thank you.
from the
We did not give them
questionnaire.
any access to
Okay.
it. All right, and I want that memorialized.
Let's make sure we add that in the
Okay.
resolution as well. So with those changes for Governor's Island
Well,
and for,
Jeff has
oh,
a question.
okay. Can you hand the mic to Jeff?
Okay, that terrace is almost certainly a reference to the terrace that faces onto South End Avenue as well as onto Albany Streets, both of which have residential buildings across the street. Are they planning on putting sound out on that
Well,
terrace?
I think that, Jeff, that they told us no, but it should be in the resolution.
Yes.
And we omitted it and we will put it in.
Okay,
All right, that there is to be no sound or alcohol or anything on that terrace.
okay.
We noted it at the meeting and we discussed it, and so we will add it to it.
Okay, thanks.
Justine, you're next.
I believe they did, just.
Yes.
Thanks. Susan, I was going to follow up with that to ask about the timing of it being opened. That's going to be like 10 o'clock or something outdoors, whatever is consistent with the neighborhood?
What's consistent with the neighborhood.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, next hand, Jess, did you have a question? asked and answered. Anybody online have any questions? This is for Governor's Island or the Battery Park City one. Susan, you didn't give them access to the outdoor terrace at all?
I don't think I did, but I'm not sure. It mentions the terrace. We'll have to deal with it.
Do you want to hold that over?
Yeah, why not? I think we should hold it over.
Let's
for
hold,
sure.
let's hold that over, send it back to committee. Motion to send back to committee?
Absolutely.
Agreed? We have to notify the applicant. Okay, that actually, to send back to committee requires
A vote.
a vote. So, yep, so I'm gonna assume a yes for everybody. And it's a send back to committee and notification to the applicant for clarification on the terrace and the hours. Do I hear any no's? Hearing no no's, do I hear any abstentions? Seeing no abstentions, do I see any recusals? Hearing none, motion passes to send back to committee. So that leaves us with Governor's Island to take the vote with the amendments that have been made. So I'll assume that all is going to be a yes. If you have a no, please state your last name and your vote. Seeing no no's in the room, are there any no's online? Seeing no no's online, are there any abstentions? None in the room. Any abstentions online? Seeing no abstentions, are there any recusals? One recusal, Patrick Cannell. And Alice Blank is also recusing. That's two. Okay, motion passes. Thank you so much, Susan.
So the Tribeca, I would like to propose that 456 Greenwich Street be held over for a month and have them come back to our committee meeting in May. The resolution, despite what Max said and some of the people who spoke, and they were very courteous and well behaved, the hotel, the community expressed a great deal of opposition. And so I'd like to take it back to committee to discuss it again. And there's some question about the 2021 resolution that we really have to discuss. So I'd like to take it back. So I'm making a motion to that. Tammy?
That's been motion made, motion second. We're going to again assume to a positive that all are in favor. If you say, if your vote is no, please raise your hand for the mic so you can vote. Seeing no no's in the room, are there no's online? None? Any abstentions? No abstentions in the room, any abstentions online? Great, any recusals? Motion to send back to committee passes. Thank you so much. Keep going.
So the other three, 239 West Broadway, 396 Broadway, and 73 Warren are all in your packets. And I am, unless there are any questions, I would call the question on those three.
You guys are moving fast. It's delightful. Okay, motion called and seconded. This is for 239 West Broadway, 396 Broadway, and 73 Warren. Assuming we are all a yes, do I hear any no's in the room? Seeing no no's, are there any no's online? Any abstentions in the room? Abstentions online? Any recusals in the room? Recusals online. Fantastic. Motion passes. Susan, thank you so much. Jason Friedman, if you can pop up from your corner, you're right there.
Hello? Oh. Okay, so number one, do we have that picture, Lucy? That random?
Yes, we do.
So we had this storefront that's on Duane Street. It's a part of three storefronts of a building, 137, 141 Duane. This is 141. The current tenant and landlord removed some historic transom windows slash grills in this area above the door, and then they were served a violation. That was a violation because that was original material. So the current tenant is looking to make the transom look more historically appropriate and clear the violation for the removal of the historic material. And I think generally we thought this was a appropriate solution to allow for louvers and also a screen in front of the louvers with some depth that would mimic the removed original transom fabric. So, and then the second item was a half-baked presentation, so we didn't take any action on it. And these are the renderings that the applicant offered up for 141 Duane Street, showing black grill with beige louvers behind and beige grill with black louvers behind. And I think we can leave that for the commission to weigh in on which is the better material pair. So I think that's it.
Awesome. Any questions in the room?
Yes. Yes. Joe Lerner. Why did he take off the original stuff, the louvers and grill?
He didn't offer any reason or rationale except that he didn't know it was original, I guess.
You guess. Okay, I'll accept it. I don't like it.
Okay. Thank you, Joe, very much. Next, I think Jess Coleman, did you have something? Mike.
Duane Street, I think West Broadway and Church, if that's possible, on the north side.
Okay. Any other questions in the room? If not, I see no more questions online, I think. All right, let's call the question for Jason. Called and seconded. Thank you so much. So assuming all are in favor, let's ask for no's. Do I have any no's in the room? Seeing none, do I have any no's online? Do I have any abstentions in the room? Abstentions online? Recusals in the room? Recusals online. Okay, fantastic. Motion passes. Thank you very much, Jason. Moving on.
The West Side Resiliency Task Force report is postponed until next month. I mean, you all know about the idea of creating a task force to look at resiliency along the West Side, particularly now with the HAT study and our comments on it. This is something that our Congressman Dan Goldman had also asked for, and we have almost finished the resolution, but for various reasons, we just decided we needed to wait until May. We apologize for that. So that's that. I've asked Lucian to just give a quick report on the financing streams that we might have available. That also will be something that we'll have a follow-up that we talked a little bit about at the last meeting. Thanks.
Mike.
Thank you, Alice. At the meeting, we talked about a couple of different ways that the city looks to finance resiliency projects. So first, we took a look at the Department of Environmental Protection and how it has been given bonding authority by the state of New York. That serves as an excellent model for how the city could empower a similar agency to receive, you know, a partnering, a bonding authority that could create the capital necessary to implement these projects. We also looked at the FIDI Seaport Master Plan. In that older version of the document, which we're hoping to see an updated version soon, but the version we're looking at is current, but yet dated. They have listed a number of different federal grants and state monies that they would like to access, different pots of funding for soft costs and maybe hard costs. However, some of the grant awards are far too small. While they may more than satisfy a smaller municipality's needs, just given the scale of what New York needs to do, the agencies in Congress need to work together to increase the size, the maximum size of the awards from 50 million to something like 100 or 200 million even, to really make it the kind of impact that New York needs to move the dial on its resiliency needs. And so finally, looking towards an act of Congress to fund all or most of the West Side HATS ACE type work, though we do know that it's very likely that we'll be asking for a locally preferred alternative, and in that case, the locality has to find a way to make up the difference in the money, and so the state and the city will need to work together. So maybe that's where the bonding authority really needs to step in. But then the question is, what's the underlying mechanism? What's the underlying fee or input money-wise for which the bonds are predicated? So there was some talk about insurance and how the state of New York could essentially surcharge insurance for properties that are within the flood zone as a way of saying, well, we're paying to lower your property insurance because we're putting in these resilient measures, and taking a little piece to fund the bonds over the course of 30, 60 years, whatever the bond term is. So that's the short of it, but we're going to look to have experts come in and do deeper dives. That's all. Thanks, Alice.
And the only other thing is just to be aware that Plan New York City, the sustainability report from the mayor came out this week, and in time for Earth Day. And if you're interested, it's a pretty comprehensive plan of where this mayoral administration is going. Very full, and we will also look at this hopefully at environmental protection soon. Thanks.
Awesome. Pat Moore, you're up next. And time check for everybody, it's 8:22. We're doing really well. Let's keep it up.
Oh, yeah, on the top, Pat, there's a switch.
Switch it up.
Towards you. Thank you, Justine. Nope, more.
Is it on? No? Yes? Yes? You can hear me? Okay. So Mariama is going to introduce the resolution that she brought to the Quality of Life Committee, which is about the 9/11 survivor legislation and the shortfall. Mariama, you there?
I am. So very quickly, last year, it was realized by the health program and by NIOSH and the CDC that if the program wasn't funded fully and further and fully, that by 2024, the government would have to begin to turn away potential patients coming to the health program with 9/11 related illnesses. And of course, no one wanted this to happen. So Senator Schumer attempted to put the shortfall monies into the omnibus bill last year. So it would have been somewhere, between $3 and $4 billion that he was looking to add. We heard from him late November where through some sort of mechanism, according to him, Mitch McConnell had removed the 9/11 money from the omnibus bill and the program went unfunded. So Senator Gillibrand came to the rescue and found a way to at least provide $1 billion that would enable the program to continue to progress and work to function properly through 2027. But obviously this is still not long enough because the original bill and the in 2010 and the reauthorization in 2016 particularly promises survivors and first responders this coverage through the year 2090. So more money was needed, an additional, $3 billion or thereabouts. And that is what we are looking to have funded now. So the bill is being reintroduced in the Republican House with a Republican lead, Congressman Garbarino. Our current and former congressmen both are sponsors as well, Nadler and Goldman. And Goldman's office came, as you heard me mention when Kevin Williams was here, Goldman's office came to the Quality of Life meeting to help to make the presentation and to explain, how important the bill is and why this money is needed. So in addition to the reasons that I just mentioned, there are a couple of cohorts that had been left out of the original funding as well, and those were people in Pennsylvania, first responders and workers in Pennsylvania and in DC at the Pentagon that weren't fully covered, that are now being fully included in this new version of the bill. And so we're asking that you support, that you vote for this tonight, and that you contact your friends and relatives, and particularly those in red states, and have them contact their representatives asking to support this bill. Any questions?
Mark. Hey, am I on? Hey, Mariama.
Hey, Mark.
How you doing? Just to reiterate or to recheck, I was a first responder, I was a volunteer, and I always advocated for that group that had no affiliation to any union or agency. So are we still looking out for us?
Absolutely. We're still,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's included.
Well,
the language of volunteers, that specific language.
Volunteers comes under the survivor cohort, yes. So survivors can be area workers, they can be, which includes volunteers, don't have to be documented, there's mechanism for that. Of course, residents, office workers, anybody that works in the area, students, some of the visitors and tourists are even included, depending upon where they were, in relation to the dust cloud.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? Can we call the question? Oh, I'm sorry. Mimi?
To look online. Let's hold on a sec. I think we're good. No questions online. No other in the room.
Can we call the question?
Second. Okay. Running as we have before, assuming based on temperature that these will be a yes. Are there any no's in the room? Are there any no's online? Are there any abstentions? Seeing none, any abstentions online? Are there any recusals? Seeing none, any recusals online? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm going to quickly run through everything because we had a meeting until 10 o'clock on Wednesday, so we don't want to repeat that here. Anyway, so we had a representative from the Veterans Services, and Mark, were you at the meeting? Oh, I'm sorry. Were you there? There. Anyway, Mark, it's something we'll talk about, so you can reach out, and if you have any topics for veterans that you'd like to bring to the committee. We had Captain Sanseth from Transit District 2 to talk about crime and what the officers were doing on the platform in the subway. We talked a little bit about their outreach to unhoused people and how they have units at the end of the line, so that when the train pulls in, they go on, and if anyone is sleeping on or sitting on the train, they try to talk to them about services that they can offer. We talked a little bit about the crime. According to him, everything is down by 32% this year as compared to last year, which included robberies, assaults, and grand larceny. You can listen to the YouTube if there's anything specific. That was basically what he said, and we can always ask him to come back. Then we had, every other month we have DDC report on all of the infrastructure projects that are going on and projects that will start. I told Rosa Nassau Street will be starting. It'll be 3 years. But again, you can listen to the reports on those individual projects. What else did we do? That's about it. So as we started to have the report on the dismantling of the jail, all heck broke loose. And as was said earlier, our representatives were there attending on Zoom, and they were very upset. And so was the community about the fact that the demolition was proceeding without, they had had a meeting with the city and different agencies, and they had asked for information to be foiled. Alice had asked for information to be foiled. They hadn't gotten that information. They had also asked for a halt or a pause on the demolition while they reviewed that information. They had also asked that once again, that buildings be looked at for alternative uses, and that hadn't been done. So we have in new business, we will have a resolution. Are you going to present that? Okay, so Tammy will be presenting the resolution in new business that asks for a halt and other things. All right, that's it. That's me.
They say anything about the USGSA, Future Southern District of New York?
Yeah.
Sorry.
So that is the Milo building that is in Andrew Plaza. And that is going to be, I think it's 3 years of construction. They are not taking down the building. They are recladding the exterior of the building and they're removing the stairs, and they are going to make it more ADA accessible. And what else did you need to know about it?
Oh, that's all good.
That's it?
Thank you.
Okay. There you go.
Rosa, do you have questions for Pat?
Sorry.
Wait for the mic, please.
I thought I got away.
Sorry, Pat. I guess so. I did actually watch the YouTube because if you miss a meeting, all the stuff explodes.
Right, exactly.
And so, question: did they go over what the age of the building, just out of curiosity, since they were both discussed at the same time?
I
This
remember them.
building was versus, let's say, the jail building, and whether or not why the federal government considers this one suitable for adaptive reuse and reskinning, and or not? I guess
Well, the use is going to be the same.
okay, but renovation versus demolition and reconstruction.
I've forgotten what they actually said about why they decided to do that. Do I have that in my notes? Remove bridge and stairs.
Okay.
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 Thanks, Eric.
And Alice, do you know the jail? Just out of when the jail was constructed?
So I was asking why they decided to reskim this building. Do you remember?
And the south building 1989, 1990, and the south building is 1941.
So just out of curiosity, then how come this one is suitable for?
The mighty fine question, Rosa.
Okay, I'm confused.
Rosa,
Yes.
to answer your question, there's a couple of different goals that they had for the Southern District of New York building. One is that there's a federal directive to try to approach carbon neutrality. So it'll be a LEED Platinum building. So they're redesigning it to be LEED Platinum. They need to disconnect it from the steam system, the Con Ed steam system. Also, as they reclad it and reglaze it, there's a part of the building where the slab of the lower floors don't come out as far as the upper floors. And what they're going to do is when they're going to glass everything straight down, and then they're going to kind of reestablish the internal capacity that they didn't have with that kind of gap. And then they're also going to make it ADA and then integrate the security screening area better. So it's the modernization, zero carbon, and then also it'll should increase capacity significantly within the building.
It's like I said, they're going to take down the stairs in the front, so it'll be more ADA compliant. Yeah.
I guess I'm just wondering though, why all of those things, I mean, take the steam part out because I have no idea about the steam on the jail site, but why aren't all of those things applicable to the jail?
Salient questions that we too are asking.
Oh, okay. Did I poke up a bear?
Point of that, it was the feds versus the city, so.
Yep. The feds are more imaginative? I don't know. All right. All right, let's keep going. All right. Justine, you're up for Battery Park City. Thank you.
Okay, folks, I shouldn't be long because I've got just reports to come through. So first and foremost, we've got discussion of the, oh, you got it out of order. So I'm going in the order that, well, I can do it. The longer one is the community feedback for the Battery Park City Authority reach specific workshops. All right, so the focus, to make it clear for everybody, the focus of the Battery Park City Committee is the process and communication and transparency between the BPCA and the Battery Park City community. So we're just focusing on that while the Environmental Protection Committee, Alice's committee, is focusing on the actual details of the resiliency. But in our committee, we did get some information about and give feedback as to the reach specific meetings. And as we talked about it, we decided and we gave them the feedback to let them know that the new meetings reach specific were well received as an easier, more interactive way to present information and get community input. We did note that there was some room for improvement, because it was exhausting to squeeze 4 reach meetings in 1 month. We also were having a question about their transparency and their communication and outreach outside of, to get the stakeholders outside of Battery Park City invited in. For example, Independence Plaza, when they were talking about the reaches that were going up on the north and the west, they didn't even know about the meeting until after the fact. So we pointed that out and we discussed solutions to try to get communication going in a better way. We also noted that cost is a big concern because we want to make sure that nobody forgets that the Battery Park City Authority Resiliency Project is protecting 92 acres inside of Battery, or that is Battery Park City, but also 88 acres outside of it. And that's all being paid for with bonds on the Battery Park City is taking out. What else? We were calling on them to do better with signage, to maybe put up signs about their next reach meetings in the kiosks, to stop or at least add on to the names of the reaches. There's 7 reaches, but do I know which one is Rockefeller Park and which one is, you know, by Gateway Plaza? I have no clue. So, you know, and I'm paying attention. So that we ask them to, whenever they're announcing it, to put the distinctions in there to make it clear what geographic location they're discussing. And then we were asking, one thing that was a positive that happened outside of their reach meetings was that they met with the Gateway Plaza Tenants Association at the request of the Tenants Association and had a very specific to Gateway in that little area meeting. They're also going to be meeting with all of Gateway, put together with the Gateway Tenants Association and the Battery Park City Authority, and do that again for that little area. So what we've asked them to do, and they did agree to, is do that per building, per neighborhood. So we're going to look forward to having that pushed forward. And then just broader engagement, basically. So that's, I think, pretty simple and easy for that. We will be probably doing a resolution next month on this, but that was the short and sweet of it. Next, activation of the Pataki Parkway. All right. So basically, Pataki Parkway is the walkway between Battery Place, or the Battery, right? At very end, the Battery Place, and then going up first, second, and third place up to West 10th Street in Battery Park City in the south. This activation is going to be temporary while the construction at Wagner Park is going on. The folks, Varun Kohli and Mimi Taft from the Battery Park City Authority's contractors came and presented once again. They did do a walkthrough. They came and talked about what they had done and who they've spoken to. And they did some outreach. They did a good job reaching out to the PSIS 276. They reached out to 150, they said, the after-school program. They knew Bob Townley, and they said they spoke with him. They didn't do a great job with the daycare centers, but there was a little nuance there because if you remember where the activation of where the Pataki Parkway is, you're not going to really want that space to be a place where kids are going to be playing and throwing balls and running around if they're really small. It's dangerous. It is next to the bike path and it is next to a road on either side. So, but they said they will still reach out to them and make sure that they reach out to the neighboring buildings as well. So quick and easy, they're focusing on safety, pedestrian access, passive activities, and keeping a light touch. And it's going to be kind of a trial and error. I'm not going to keep talking too much about what they're looking to put out there at the beginning, but in their pre-phase 1 design, they are looking to start it in May. They're hoping to get it going. And the biggest and I think most positive thing is walk by there. Tell them what you think. If you like it, that's great. If you don't like it, tell them that because they will modify what's going on, but they need to hear back from us. And if they hear nothing, they'll just keep going. And I think I can keep going. Oh, and one thing to note that was important is the Allied Universal Ambassadors are going to be assigned to the space to come through there and keep track of it because they're not patrolling Wagner Park anymore. So now this will be designated as a park for hours and they promised to come through. So I'm going to then move on to the state of small businesses in Battery Park City. And Colin, you saw that, yes. So yes, in my committee, we talked a little bit about Battery Park City, and we talked about how important it was going to be to get this small business working group through the land use, zoning, and economic delivery. No, development. Thank you. I just can't read my own handwriting. Development committee. We need you, and we need it going because the stores that have closed in Battery Park City alone, we've lost a drugstore, multiple pizza places, restaurants, grocery stores, a dry cleaner, and a parking garage. But that's just Battery Park City. This is all over Community Board 1. So we need both. And something that was kind of fleshed out in the meeting, and it wasn't a crazy discussion. I think it was about 30 minutes, 40 minutes, was fleshed out though, is that the Battery Park City Authority is our bid. And the rest of the city has different bids and different places to worry about. So it would maybe be the same people but bigger. But Battery Park City, I think, is going to be meeting with the Battery Park City Authority. And then we'll also need your working group. And I think we can kind of mix and match information. And yeah, let's definitely do it because we need to. We need to get this going because it's a mess. And then I think that's it. Anybody have any questions? Wait for the microphone.
Morton, Mike.
Morton, this way down here.
What is the effect of the? I'm not even sure what the Pataki Parkway is, but is on the use of the West Thames Park, which is a very popular park for a lot of the children in the area.
Okay, so no effect whatsoever on the West Thames Park. That's going to be open and fine. What they're looking to do, so you know what it is because it's where the bridge is that goes across the West Highway. So the walkway and the bike path south of that. That's the Pataki. I mean, the whole darn thing we call the Pataki Parkway, but that is the area. And they're looking to start the pre-phase 1 between, I think they said first and second place along there. And they're going to just have tables set up. They're going to put this like weird blue vinyl on either end and then put down like AstroTurf. And they're going to be taking up this, they've measured it to say it's 30 feet across that walkway. They're going to take 18 feet for the activation of the space and 12 feet to keep the pedestrian pathway open. And, in the committee, we spend time, if you listen to the meeting, we spend a lot of time talking about safety and about access for the pedestrians. We had people complaining, rightly so, that, kids learned how to ride their bikes on there because it was safe. It's not the bike path, but that was a safe place to do it. And with 12 feet, you're not learning to ride anything. It's not, there's no open space there to do it. So
that area gets congested a lot when a lot of the tourists go to see the Statue of Liberty and
they do walk along that. They walk along the Esplanade as well. It'll be interesting to see, but that's why I'm saying, and I guess I'm going to be calling on the parents because you're going to be. I don't know which way you go across to get to PS 150.
No, what we do is we bike down to go to West Thames Park.
Ah, okay. Well, it won't interfere with West Thames Park. The grassy area and the playground is fine. They're not touching that. That's a place for kids to play, and they're not doing that. In the back, I can't see who it is, but in the back. Oh, Way back. Yeah, there you go. Thank you.
Sure.
Andrew, sorry. Okay. Yep.
So you referenced the Allied
Yeah,
Security or
the yellow
ambassadors.
jackets.
Yeah.
Yep. Hmm.
Can you comment on if there have been any changes to the number of people in that program? And I ask because we don't see them as much around the ball fields, and the upper terrace has always been a problem, but this year it's just become completely chaotic and out of control. And I don't know if their lack of visibility or presence is because they've been scaled back at all.
I will go back to that, but let's talk offline. Allegedly, they're not scaled back. I mean, they do scale back in the winter and then they ramp up for the summer. And it has been warmer now, so and people are outside and maybe they're not ramped up yet. But that is a really good question. And yeah, it's frustrating. It's the give and take. Patrick Murphy won't tell us the schedules and who's where, when, and how many people there are on duty for safety reasons, and he's got to keep it kind of low key. So I don't think he's playing games with us. I think it just is sensible, I suppose. But the other side of the coin is, where are they when you need?
Justine, let's ask Nicholas about, they have seasonal,
They do have seasonal.
and let's see when their season is ramping up. Andrew, what you could be experiencing is they may not be ramping up until May. Your season has started and you're still in the winter
Yeah,
staffing. So that's a question for Nick.
that's fair. Yeah, but Andrew, let's keep up with it. Thank you. Anybody else? Anybody online? I have no clue.
Any questions on that?
Thank you.
All right, thanks so much. Let's move on to the next. Patrick Cannell, take it away.
Okay, everybody, it was a relative calm before the storm for Land Use, Zoning, and Economic Development Committee. This month we had our quarterly update from the Downtown Alliance. So I'll just give you the quick highlights. Part of the economic update, no surprise, the commercial office market is bad. Leases are climbing in just certain types of amenity-rich buildings, Class B buildings, of which 65% are in FIDI. They noted some residential conversions. There are 6 major projects that are underway, as we hear a lot about residential conversion in the news and potential for real estate, commercial office space being converted. There are 6 projects: 25 Water, 55 Broad, 85 Broad, 160 Water, 17 Battery Place, and 90 John that are currently in the pipeline that they talked about a little bit. But they noted that it's not easy to do. Tourism is up. And 2 sort of transportation notes. They talked to us a little bit about the connection bus and some adjustments that the Alliance was going to make to the connection bus routes before COVID, specifically reducing or eliminating a U-turn at West Street, which will require them to adjust a few stops, though they haven't specifically said which stops or how far they'll be adjusted, so keep an eye out for that. We heard about it. This is actually a pretty cool project, and Betty and the Transportation Committee are going to take it up in conjunction with inviting the Land Use Committee folks, a resolution probably in support of a PATH train project that apparently the Port Authority had on hold for a while. But there's an effort to bring the PATH train directly from Newark Airport to World Trade Center and into Lower Manhattan, which would be obviously a huge, huge boon. So look out for more on that soon. The other thing our committee talked about, Lucian gave us a really great walkthrough of the city's online zoning tools so that members of the zoning, Land Use and Zoning Committee can be ready for a couple of big applications, including 60 Wall Street and a citywide zoning text amendment to go carbon neutral or zero carbon neutral, I think it's called, part of the Mayor's City Yes initiative, where there'll be at least 3 different applications within the context of one citywide ULURP. So there's gonna be a lot of workforce coming up, but that's what I got. Any questions? Justine, then Duran.
Thank you. So I have a question about the Downtown Alliance connection bus, and it's an idea that I'm putting into your head. I heard it from Chinatown when I was at some meeting. Wellington Chen was asking how and if it would be possible to figure out a way to get a partnership with the Alliance, the Battery Park City Authority, because they're there already, but to extend the route of the bus into Chinatown in Little Italy. to kind of connect the lower Manhattan more. And, my answer back was, well, who's going to pay for that? And I said, we need to talk to the bids that are there. They would be helping out and paying for, or the city, whatever, but that would be something.
In Chinatown?
Excuse me?
Doesn't Wellington lead the bid in Chinatown?
He does. He does. Yes, he does. And there's a couple more, and there's a Little Italy bid too, or
And
one or
Jessica
two.
wants to fight it out. We can-
But yeah, right. But that would be so they were open to the idea. So that would be something. I don't know where to bring it as a real push forward, but I'm doing it now.
No, it's a good idea. And whether it's Tammy or me, can bring that back to the Alliance, to Josh and to Jessica and Tina.
Yeah, and see what it would take. Thank you.
No problem. Jerron and then Rosa.
Good evening. Thank you for your update tonight. You mentioned the 6 office buildings are residential. You said 90, John. So will now that entire edifice 90/100 become residential?
What I know about the project outside of that update is the answer is yes.
Thank you.
Welcome.
And what was the time frame? I guess they didn't several
Maybe
years
another
probably.
20 years before they.
All right.
You're asking. You really want to know when that shed's coming down, Duran? I know. Rosa.
Patrick, could you repeat the address of the building?
90 John. 90 to 100 John.
So, Justine, just to answer your question, Wellington did actually get a bid, or not a bid, number to extend the downtown connection bus into Chinatown. And the number was so frighteningly high that they just said they would not be able to do that. Basically, Downtown Alliance said, okay, you want the extension, this is what it costs to run that route. And as far as I know, that it was beyond what they were willing to pay. So that's where that conversation ended.
Thanks
That's
for that.
what I know.
Surprising. Any other questions?
Yes, one announcement. Oh, thank you. I just want to, for those who are interested, the Department of City Planning received the presentation on the net carbon zero amendment. So for anybody who wants to get a preliminary review, you can watch it on YouTube. It was in yesterday's Department of City Planning public hearing. In addition, the other thing that anyone who might be interested is the Public Design Commission reviewed 70 Mulberry Street, which is the Chinatown Community Center. I know that's not in our district, but a lot of people are watching that very carefully. So I just wanted to give that update.
Tammy, can I just say one thing? Thank you, Alice. I'll send a link to the YouTube video that's queued up to the beginning of the zero net carbon citywide amendment at the CPC review session for everyone, as well as all the submissions, the files, the findings and such this week.
Good stuff.
Perfect.
Good?
We're good. Thank you, Patrick. I'd like the mic to go to the back for Betty, please.
Don't forget about online, please.
Oh, did you have questions? Sorry, Gerald.
Yes, but if Betty's first.
Betty's going to give her a report. If you have a question for Patrick, Patrick's right here. Go for it. Sorry, I didn't see your hand.
Thank you. The Downtown Alliance quarterly report was extremely eye-opening with the issue of office space in particular. Patrick, if possible, since you're in contact with them or somebody there is, can we get a report on residential rents in particular? I know that it just doesn't make sense that rents are going up and up and up. I mean, I know our building alone, rents have gone up 30 to 35%.
Joe, I can just answer that on probably a quick note.
Okay, very good.
The Alliance publishes all that data, and if they have that data, it's on their website. They're pretty open with that. Yeah.
All right, very good. Thank you.
They have a quarterly report and in their monthly board report. I would take a look at both of those, which are publicly listed on their website.
Yeah, they do a pretty deep dive into a lot of different statistical overlays. Okay.
Thank you.
And you're welcome. Anybody else online?
I don't see anybody else online. Sorry about that, Gerald. Alrighty, Betty is going to be presenting from the back of the room today. I apologize, but it is a steep, carpeted, unfriendly pathway. Betty?
Yeah, thank you. This should actually go fairly quickly. The first one, and in fact, I'll go by the slides,
which will better direct, because the first thing is going to be talking about a street activity permit for the Friends of Duane Street. So you could switch slides. Yeah, this is a resolution, and this is the basic points of it. It's to close Duane Street from Hudson Street to Greenwich Street from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. That's a change from the last activity that was kind of the same sort of thing, because they have more activities built in besides the dinner, which will be in the evening. But this is on Sunday, September 10th. So it is on a weekend. It's to barricade Staple Street at Duane Street to stop traffic from entering Duane Street. Not a problem, because that's a one-way street headed the wrong direction anyway, and this they've done in the past. It's also to leave the sidewalks open during the event as well as before, the whole time. They want to seek public engagement for their proposed resiliency and restoration project for the park, which is the point of this fundraiser. It's also information exchanges. They're going to have a small podium with a microphone and speakers for welcoming remarks and a toast. So this is not a sound that would go on the whole day by any means. It's for very pointed purpose. And they're going to be in the park for that. There's also going to be some background music planned in the afternoon and evening. Again, things they've done in the past. And I can tell you their complaints they've had in the past have been the tickets sold out before some people found out about it. And so they were kind of annoyed that they weren't able to participate. But they're trying to take that on by having yet another event, this one on the 10th. Next, because this was a pretty straightforward resolution. I can have the next slide. Yeah, this is a straightforward, therefore be it resolved, that Manhattan Community Board 1 urges the Street Activity Permit Office, or SAPO, to approve the Friends of Duane Park's Street Activity Permit application to close Duane Street between Hudson and Greenwich to stop traffic from Staple Street from entering Duane Street for a one-day celebration on September the 10th.
I see no hands in the room. I see no hands online. Call the question. Multi-seconded. So awesome. Betty, I'll take it from here and say, perfect. Switch to the audience. Assuming everybody say yes, are there any no's? Are there any no's online? Make sure if you are online, your camera is on. Otherwise, you cannot be complete for a vote. And are there any abstentions? Seeing no abstentions, hearing none from online, are there any recusals? Hearing and seeing none, motion passes unanimously. Thank you so much. Betty, the rest of your report?
Yeah, next slide. Yeah, this is just to briefly bring up the mobility plans. They are not finished by any means. If you want details, by all, watch the March and April meetings where there were long discussions about them. This is in the process of being changed. But the rationales, and Susan Cole has brought up, traffic studies aren't making anyone real happy, and they weren't intended for these purposes. So we were taking on the issue of how do we move a great number of people at the beginning and end of events, much the way large venues worry about it for themselves. Our street activities are a little bit different. So that's where we were starting as a transportation committee. So we want to get more people attuned to, I did a survey of all kinds of websites for all these various groups, and they really don't advertise any sort of information about what mass transit and what stop to get off on for their event. Things that would be very helpful to the public to have. They just don't give that information. So to try to encourage more, to get people moving on mass using sustainable ways, as well as the convenience, if there's going to be parking or if we need drop-off sites, we're going to deal with some of the logistical problems of getting people around because they haven't been organized to date. And so I think next slide, there may be one more to give people an idea. Yeah, just so you have an idea, there's nothing really huge about it. We're trying to organize what we ask presenters to the committee to come forward with. What information should they be bringing when they're asking for a street activity permit? What kind of, and that could be anything from something like the bike tour, but it can also be something such as a closure of the street like Duane Street is doing, Duane Street Park. So we're kind of covering the range, and we'll be talking about it a little bit in May. So that's the end of my report. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Betty, you also did the open streets process and proposed rule change.
But that moved on to executive, and so
Okay,
we're
gotcha.
just introducing it.
Perfect. All right. So that brings us to new business. This is a roll call vote and our last of the night. Woot. It was actually a resolution that was sent out in the packet. It is considered new business because it is not something that was discussed necessarily in committees on topic because of the nature of the discoveries at our quality of life committee. Justine, stay over by the mic. So if we have any questions, we can go back and forth. Do we have any questions in the room on this resolution?
I just may have to make a small amendment on the first whereas, which I wrote some of this. I have to check with the Historic District Council to make sure they are in fact long been opposed. That word, it may not be accurate. And it's it's not the North Tribeca Alliance, it's the Tribeca North Association. And again, I need to check with them if they're comfortable with the long been opposed rather than just opposed.
Would it be easier to just get the word long out? I would take the.
I thought of that, but I didn't want to, and I'll still need to check,
that,
but
get rid of the word long out. it's
Okay.
fine.
Thanks.
But then if correct the names, we can do that.
So we are correcting the names and removing the adjective.
That's fine.
Fantastic. Any other comments? Rosa, mic coming your way from Lucy or?
Should just say Golden. Okay, third whereas Goldman's office, it says Goldman shouldn't have two S's at the end.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It should be just.
Goldman's Mins? Yes, we'll remove one S. Thank you.
Thank you. Spelling.
All righty. Any other questions? Any hands online for questions? Seeing none, this is roll call. And Colin, you're it.
She likes it.
Oh, no, you're doing it? You're it?
But you're gonna type, right? All right, sweet. Amoruso?
Yes.
Thank you. Blank?
Yes.
Thank you. Brown Kennedy? Thanks. Cameron?
Cameron, yes.
Thank you. Cassell?
Yes.
Thank you. Chang? Thank you. Chapman? Thank you. Charkoudian?
Yes.
Thank you. Coleman? Oh, Cole, sorry. Thanks. Coleman? Thank you. Corman? Thank you. Kuja?
Yes.
Thanks. Curtis?
Curtis, yes.
Thanks. Lynn? Yes. Thank you. Forsberg?
Forsberg, yes.
Thanks. Friedman? Thank you. Froman? Thank you. Galloway? Thank you. Goldstein?
Goldstein, yes.
Thank you. James? She gone.
Second call.
Call you later. Joyce?
Joyce, yes.
Thank you. Jew? Thank you. Kay? Thank you. Cannell? Thank you. Lerner?
Lerner, yes.
Thank you. Lyon? Thank you. Mahoney? Thank you. Meltzer?
Meltzer, yes, of course.
Thank you. Minsley? Thank you. Moore? Thank you. Robinson?
Yes.
Thank you. Jimmy Sung?
Yes.
Thank you. Farasung? Thank you. Townley?
Yes.
Thank you. You? Thank you. Zelter? Thank you. And Mariama?
Must have camera on to vote.
James?
Z is a yes.
Thanks.
Call her straight out.
Mariama? Hey, Mariama, come back to your camera.
Close this thing.
Mariama? Oh, do we?
Nope, she's out.
Okay, thanks.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you very much. Meeting is adjourned 9:04. In person is faster. Woo!
You can cut the recording now. If